Hey, Brett.
There.
Hey, boys.
Brett. Mister.
How's it going?
Great.
Super. I'm waiting for the sun to blast me in the fucking head again.
52
But
minutes in, usually, right about that spot, right when we're hitting it.
Yeah.
Andy doesn't believe you.
I mean,
For
I
some
could.
reason, he doesn't think that you can time it.
I know if I put up another shade there, the sun will just find another angle in here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Nature finds a way.
Yeah, it's just fucking. It's pretty lousy. Fuck nature. I've been going about it wrong, and I've been trying to fuck nature when I should just say fuck nature.
Just let nature fuck you.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm not in a fight with cancer. I'm just letting nature fuck me.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, I'm going to try to put a finger in its ass. As I got
there you go, fucking around with nature.
My neck hump turned out to be a blood clot in my jugular vein. I just heard the jugular vein part of it today.
Jesus.
That's why I probably shouldn't have been all willy-nilly trying to water plants back by the rock garden. And I could have dislodged a blood clot in my jugular vein, which I don't think would be good.
No.
So that's what it was. It was. I didn't have belly sickness. It was cancer, and that muscle cramp in my neck turned out to be a blood clot.
Is the blood clot? Is that a kind of a side effect of all of the chemo and all the medications?
It's because it's 15% of us lucky people who get these ports put in have blood clots associated with it.
Yeah. So they got you on a blood thinner?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't read that shit.
You got other stuff to do.
I got 2 more self-injections unless I get better drugs. This could be the end of my needle drug use this week. Which is kind of cool.
Good.
It's just kind of a hurdle. But yeah, I would have had chemo this last week, but they said I need to take some time to shrink my blood clot in my neck.
Fat neck.
What did they do for that besides give you blood thinners? Did they palpate the area? Did they go in there?
Nothing. Just I went and did an ultrasound, and they took all the angles of it and told me I had a blood clot. And then when I went in to see my doctor, he always says, "All right, catch you later, my man." I'm gonna hit him with that on the last visit before he says it. Not if I see you first, my man. But I heard a comedy. Well, it wasn't really a comedy show, but a guy in a big overloaded chemo waiting room. Where it's like nobody really sit away from each other, don't talk to anybody, you can get on your phone, and a guy sitting in the middle there, 50-year-old fatty, said, "Hey, does anyone want to hear a joke?"
Oh God.
And I tried to tape the whole thing, but I did tape that last half. That the joke was it's like any typical guy joke that's like, can I tell a joke? He doesn't have it goes nowhere. It involves a lot of details about people, and they're on an airplane. And I think that the punchline of it, at least at the end, he goes, "I'm sorry, I apologize to the blondes, especially the natural ones." That was his closer. Nobody said at any point, I didn't hear anybody say, "Yes, let's hear a joke."
So he just said this to the entire room.
Yeah, he announced it to the room.
Particular?
Yeah, he announced it to the room, and I thought about saying only if it's about cancer, but I didn't want to heckle. I haven't been out. I haven't been out to a comedy show.
If somebody's comedy raping the room, you can heckle, I think.
Yeah. And it's like,
Andy, no one said no. I don't want to hear a joke.
And I didn't get all the beats.
I don't think you should have to say no.
Yeah, you're not in a cancer waiting room.
An understood no, and you should. It's like any sort, like Chad just compared it to rape. Consent requires consent.
The dirty looks from the dying people in the room should have really clued this guy in.
Yeah, if it were a comedy club, it would be called Death's Door. Death's Door comedy. And like, hey, all right, this guy, your next joke teller, here's it. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So, but the gist of the joke was there was a blonde sitting in first class and she wasn't supposed to be. And then in order to get her, she wanted to go somewhere. And then he goes, that the plane ain't going there. And he goes, the first class doesn't go to Miami or something. It was like that stupid. It was that stupid of a joke, like the blonde.
I know that joke.
Okay, so yeah, and then he had like,
flight attendant.
Brett, we don't want to hear it.
Okay.
Do you have cancer?
Assume no.
What if that guy don't even have cancer? He's just there to bum people out that have cancer.
Couldn't get into an open mic earlier in the day, so he thought he'd try that last ditch.
It was offensive to natural blondes. Do you see anybody with hair up here, motherfucker? Oh, sorry.
Do you remember the joke?
What?
Do you remember the joke?
Well, I mean, Andy pretty much got it right. That's pretty much it.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah. You can infer the rest of the joke from the punchline. They're trying to move the blonde out of the first class back into her regular seat in coach, and she won't go. She won't do it. And then she says, "I'm taking this trip. I always wanted to go to Miami. And I'm going first class to Miami." And then they say, "Oh, first class isn't going to Miami." And she's like, "Oh," and then she goes back to her regular seat so that she can get to Miami.
Give it up for cancer guy.
That sounds like a news story.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta watch shit that's based on truth too, I find. I don't know, without doing any research, but I find like things that can inspired by the truth. Everything's inspired by the truth, even fucking lies.
Yeah, I always like that when you see that on a movie, or a TV show. Inspired by real events. Like, everything is inspired by real events.
I had a dream about this. That dream was a real thing that happened and inspired this.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the loosest bullshit. And then and then if you were in the crowd with the dullards waiting to go in, they'd say, "Well, this really happened." Like, no, it's inspired by true events, which is bullshit. That it should just say, "This is bullshit," instead of inspired by true events. I don't, the guy. It's like the Bible's inspired by true events. There's a guy named Jesus who was a half-ass carpenter, and he had some friends. The rest of it's hearsay. Even though I memorized it, I did not take it into my head.
Maybe that's where you stopped following instruction and reading. Maybe it's religion's fault.
Yeah. Well, if I
jam that Bible into your brain when you were young, you're like, this is pointless.
Either the preacher who later choked me because he's the one who awarded me the Bible. So I got it for memorization, and I don't think old man Choker would have, given me a Bible for nothing.
Maybe for keeping your mouth shut.
Yeah, that's probably why my neck hurts.
Yeah, did he give it to you or throw it at you?
I think I was presented. It was presented all
once again. But, how?
But I think I was one of those guys where it's like, give him a little choking and give him a little Bible loving. Somewhere in the middle here we'll land this. And they couldn't even stop me from floor swimming. That's a desperate cry for help right there. Trying to literally crawl out of the place.
It wasn't one of those trick Bibles that has a hole in it. When you open it up, there's a wiener in it. Is there?
There's a rock
Bible,
hammer.
I got you.
It's a rock hammer.
A dab kit in there.
I was just watching the Shawshank again. That's a fine movie to watch over and over. But yep. I wish I would have thought of that, carving out the Bible back, and that would have been the ultimate hiding place for my pipe.
That's what I got for my son Zach for his 18th birthday, was a Bible, a Stanhope signed Bible.
We were on the road, weren't we?
Yeah, that's when Bingo freaked out. That was part of her freak out. So I spent hours in the van carving out this Bible with a knife. It didn't come that way. I fucking carved it that way, and then she got freaked out by that, and then she wanted it, and I had to give it to her. So I had to do another one in 45 minutes before we got to Iowa City.
We were going to his school, right? college?
He was a freshman at the University of Iowa. He still talks about what a great memory that is for him, because the van pulls up with Doug and Bingo in full fucking outfits, parked right out in front of the freshman dorm, and just caused quite a fucking ruckus. It's right across the street from all the frat houses, and it was like Friday afternoon at like 3:30. So everyone's like, who the fuck are these people?
They're not students.
He could have been like, I would watch a remake of Doug Stanhope in as Rodney in Back to School.
Maybe after Road Dogg comes out, he'll be getting some offers for some.
Yeah. That's maybe I should start rewriting that. Just pitch it like Hogan's Hero. I'll just show up.
Yeah. Get up on the table.
And then there's a fat Nazi, and he's unaware of everything.
Chaille would be good in a Back to School remake. You could be the Paulie from Rocky character, the chauffeur or whatever.
He kind of got everything for Rodney.
Yeah, he was like the assistant.
Yeah,
they didn't
part.
And I haven't done the research, but the kid in that movie who played his kid, I don't think he ever resurfaced in a movie again.
Wasn't he in Risky
really?
Business?
He was in he was in Christine.
Okay.
Wasn't that the same kid from Christine?
Yeah. I mean, it's probably okay. Let's bag on the kid from Teen Werewolf. Did that fat kid? whatever happened to the fat kid?
Yeah, he was in Werewolf. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Damn it. There's on the Better Call Saul, there was a kid who was in Home Alone, who was the mean older brother of Kevin. He was on this week's Better Call Saul. Yeah, I guess there's like
you got me there. I don't have another one for that guy.
Yeah, there's a
actually the guy that was in Keith Gordon is the guy who was in Back to School. He was also in Better Call Saul.
What?
Keith Gordon was the son's name? I don't think that is the guy from Christine then. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
You're getting your nerds all mixed up.
I mean, totally. Maybe it's possible that I've mixed my nerds. My nards.
Yeah, you couldn't make a movie like Revenge of the Nerds now with all the rape themes and drugging.
Yeah, there wasn't anything that wasn't problematic in that movie. There was
it's hard to like.
He was in Christine.
Another one.
He was that was the guy?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay, good.
Nerd vindicated.
Yeah.
There's a lot of projects they can get just because I didn't see him after that. I just thought that kid disappeared. I didn't watch Christine.
Christine was a great movie, man.
That's the one where the car comes alive.
The car fixes itself.
I don't remember the movie. I remember reading the book. It's a teenager, but I don't remember.
The book was good too, I thought. I like Stephen King books.
Yeah, me too. I read all of them until he retired and went on a fucking writing spree. Now I have Jenny she used to buy me every Stephen King book that was on sale. And then I'd already read it, but I'd read it again. And then she started buying the ones when he retired. And now I have 9 books in the house that I have to fucking read.
Just get on his Twitter. He spends a lot of time on his Twitter.
Somebody has complained that a lot of his new books are just veiled criticisms of Trump nonstop. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to fucking read that.
It's gotten into everybody's head.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. It's like you just want to fantasize about like fucking running into Junior. Like, man, I'd probably just say, hey, Junior, man. Hey, come on, give me a bump. Come on, bro.
I just saw Paul Provenza threaten violence on Junior on Twitter. I was like, Paul Provenza? Jesus Christ.
It's a hot summer. I'm not going anywhere, but I feel like punching, not the neighbor, but I mean, I would punch friendliness if it walked up and said hello. get the fuck out of here. I'm just not into this. You know, that's
Not
all they
today.
represent. I tried complaining about the neighbors being too friendly to my wife, who's a Jehovah Witness. I'm like, talk about fucking preaching to a fucking, well, not to the sir. Anyway, just fucking saying shit.
Wait, were
standing
you
there.
trying to make use the saying preaching to the choir, and then you realized
Yeah,
that
I
it
was
was
trying.
the
I had to
exact
reverse it.
opposite situation happening, preaching to someone who has no interest in hearing what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. Preaching
That's
to an
fantastic.
empty choir.
Preaching to the short bus.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't get what you're saying.
Preaching to the satanic temple.
Yeah, so I realized I would, she's all friendlier than they could ever. She's got to be a degree friendlier. So
Well, they're potential marks, right? I mean, if
Right.
they'll,
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
talk to you. Fuck.
yeah. I wish we were on the same page as with that as marks for the same reason.
I know we've talked about this before, but I've been thinking about it off and on. It is interesting that Jehovah's Witnesses are so adamant about spreading the good word and recruiting people into their group when they say there is a hard and fast number of people who are going to be allowed in. It seems like they should be actively trying to get rid of people.
Like
Maybe-
culling
maybe-
the amount of people allowed.
Maybe
Yeah.
they're recruiting people into a bullshit religion when the actual religion is the one that gets the
Throw them
seat.
off the scent.
Yeah, they're doing a
Oh,
bait
yeah.
and switch.
Well, there's a those signs that people have like at carnivals or things, or it's like you'll go to hell if you're one of these, and then it lists all these things that I am or have been or at least
Right,
witnessed close
Yeah.
by. And then
Yeah.
there's Jehovah Witnesses on the list. It's like, motherfucker,
I always
don't be
love
telling
those lists.
me they're going to be in hell too.
I always love those lists because there's always, like you'll read those lists and like it's always like, homosexuality and atheism, and then you'll get like 12 or 13 in and it'll be like juggling. Like, what, juggling? What the fuck? There's always like one or two. You're like, wait, wrestling?
Corn
is a
on the
thing?
cob spinners.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I had when I was in the army, there was I think I told you guys about this, a Jehovah's Witness guy that would constantly just bug me to go to church with him all the time. And then I'd pull that out. What the fuck? Isn't there limited fucking seats? What are you doing? I go, you're the same guy who has told me about your multiple email accounts that you use to cheat on your wife. You better start trying to secure your seat before you start trying to get somebody else in the fucking boat, dude.
Yeah.
Or get into leadership.
He didn't try to recruit me anymore after that.
That was it.
That was it.
I had some Jehovah's Witnesses come to my house before I was divorced, when I still lived in Morton, which is a very religious right-wing town. And I was doing radio, so I was home during the day. I was doing overnights radio, so I was home during the day. And Jehovah's Witnesses came, and I had already been arguing with my ex, who was a born-again Christian at that point. So I was pretty ready for this kind of shit. But I was super nice, and I made lemonade and brought him in, and we sat at the kitchen table and we chatted for like 2 or 3 hours. We talked about free will and all this stuff, and then they said they'd come back the next day, and they came back the next day, and we chatted for another couple of hours at the kitchen table, and then they just finally were like, God damn it, fuck, and they just got up and left. Like they thought for sure, like, just like, I'm sure they'd heard, like, just keep them going. If you just keep talking to
Wear
them,
him
they'll break
down like a detective.
Yeah.
Trying to get a confession.
And little did they know that I had been having this argument with someone who was cheating in the argument on me. Women don't argue fair. So I was like enjoying the back and forth, and it was good practice and fun. I had nothing else to do during the day. So,
and they kind of dress sexy in a
I was like what's his face in Young Frankenstein, the blind guy, was it Michael, was it not Michael Caine, who is the guy that played he was a blind guy, and Frankenstein's monster walked into his house, and he hadn't had a visitor in 23 years, and he just wanted Frankenstein to hang out. Wouldn't let him leave. who was that? That was I always want to say
That's Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman.
Gene
I always
Hackman.
want to say Michael Caine. I get Michael Caine. Gene Hackman's like the American Michael Caine. I get those two fucking guys mixed up all the time. Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman's driving around in a golf cart. I forget what state he lives in, but he's doing good for an old
Okay,
dude.
and I read that article too.
Yeah, at least that's what his PR people want us to know.
Yeah, it didn't have a picture. I noticed the recent pictures.
Uh-oh.
Could have been
There was-
bullshit.
There was just an actor who died that they had him dead a few days before he died.
Oh yeah.
Was it James Caan?
No, Tony
No.
Dow.
Oh, Tony
Oh
Dow.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Beeve. Yeah,
Yeah.
or
Beeve's
Beeve's
brother.
brother. Yeah. Fucking that was bullshit. Don't do that to fucking Wally, goddamn it.
I think what happened is that nobody told his publicist, and so the publicist, wait, he's not dead, and that family's like, oh no, yeah, he's dead. Oh shit, yeah, he is.
I was just
haven't
laid
hit
off
send
as his
on this tweet
publicist.
yet.
Yeah, I didn't see how the Beaver took it, but that was a show. I mean, I'm sure we all watched it in reruns, right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
The fucking
Recently,
nerd.
I just turned it on to my 8-year-old granddaughter has been watching it. She loves it. 'Cause I try to find wholesome shit that she can watch.
Yeah.
feel like-
Hey, Chad, do you get Wii TV out there? WETV?
That sounds familiar. Does it come through like Prime or something?
It's on certain, it doesn't like our direct TV in this area doesn't get it, but like in Tucson or some other like Phoenix, it'll get it.
Oh,
like
I
it's
only have
different-
streaming stuff. I don't have a cable.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know how to get it, but it's on regular cable, one of the channels, and it is everything like what you like the things you're looking for
Yeah.
your kids there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she burned through those things. That was a good show. I liked it.
Yeah. That Larry kid is if you watch that and then you watch the Simpsons,
Lumpy?
he's
Oh,
Larry,
Larry.
yeah, Lumpy. He's kind of like Chief Wiggum's kid. He was
Yeah.
a fat, whiny kid.
Larry was Beaver's friend. Lumpy was Wally's friend.
Yeah.
Two different characters.
Yeah. But they
Lumpy
were
was
brothers.
older. Lumpy was friends with Eddie and Wally. Larry was Beaver's buddy because
Yeah.
Larry was the guy when
Oh, you're
he
right.
wanted to go over to Larry's house for dinner, and then he came back and he said, "Oh, Larry's mom made liver too." That was
Sure would be
Larry
crummy.
Mondello,
Larry Mondello.
and it was Lumpy Rutherford.
Lumpy, yep.
Tony Dow showed up on like one of the court shows many years ago, but it was like People's Court or something. He was on as a witness, I think. I was like watching that and going, God damn it, that kid's familiar.
Was he testifying against Eddie Haskell?
He was
He'd been up to some shit.
no, he was Lumpy got nominated for Supreme Court. He was testifying.
Eddie Haskell stole a bunch of my mom's Xanax. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's good to see that picture you had of Chaille. It's good to see Tony Dow age. It's really nice
Looked
whenever
all right.
the uglies of the world like me can see the handsome, good-looking people just eventually just as ugly as me.
Yeah.
He looks fine.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, well,
He aged well.
yeah.
How old was he there? 90?
I have no idea.
No,
He's
he died at
whatever.
like 77. He doesn't look that good.
Oh,
I don't know. I think he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But
I'd
then
say-
I'm older than you, so I'm looking at it I'm a lot closer to looking like that than you are.
You're older than me and you still look way better than me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I'm headed toward that forehead. I can fucking tell you that. Got that forehead in my sights.
We were looking the other day trying to figure Jenny and I are always disappointed when we come across a movie where the actor or actress has had so much work done
Oh,
that it's just hard to. I can't watch the new season of Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
oh,
Dee
because the blonde
looks
girl.
horrible, and she was pretty before, and it's like, what the fuck did you do to yourself?
yeah,
They
I
should
haven't
do-
seen the new season.
They should do a movie where all them ladies are in it, but it's part of the story. Like it's a little, it's a Florida village, and everybody there is all stretched out, pie face and Botox and shit.
Oh, like Golden Girls, like a
Yeah.
remake.
Yeah, Meg Ryan and
All this shit's
ones
just
with-
falling down.
Yeah, where they're there's some that are obviously went through a process.
Dennis
Like if
Quaid
you-
is the mayor.
Oh man, when you see Randy Quaid in that Independence Day, you want to root for him again. But
Look, Randy Quaid is fucking batshit crazy. There's no question about that.
oh yeah,
But he looks less fucked up right now than his
Yeah.
brother does, and that's
Yeah.
saying something because
I don't
Randy
know.
Quaid has gone completely off the edge.
they always get like a subtle change or two, and then they keep it going, and then eventually it looks. Then they're just like one fucking emotion away from their face snapping. Good God, man! Like
Well,
how
I think it's one of those things. It's like getting a tattoo or something like that. Like you do the first one and you're like, oh, all right, and then you just keep going, and then sometimes you'll see tattoos that just like you're just like, why did you keep getting tattoos? None of those are good. They're just bad all the way around. They just kept getting bad, and every tattoo is worse than the one before it. And then you start to get into that thing like where you're in trouble with your face, and you're like, well, there's no choice now but to try to fix your way out of it. Like you
Yeah,
gotta keep. That's the only thing you can do is
well-
have another surgery. You can't have fewer.
what's the owner of the Cowboys? Like that guy didn't start it handsome, so what's he trying to achieve?
I like that you made the tattoo analogy though, Erickson, because that makes me think about it differently. What if these people aren't even trying to improve their appearance? They just enjoy going under the fucking knife, and you got to come up with some kind of elective surgery. Because I have shitty tattoos. I'll have more. I have stick and poke in there. I'll probably sleeve my left arm with a stick and poke at some point.
Jesus
So
Is that like a do-it-yourself kit?
the old style tattoos.
Oh, prison, juvie.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Where you not even where you don't have a motor. You're the motor. But
You're the motor.
but I just enjoy the feeling of getting a tattoo.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm supposed to be a cutter, but I'm not that much of a pussy. Like I just like the feeling of it.
I
So
like the
maybe,
feeling too.
Maybe I'm judging these people wrong. They're not trying to
Yeah.
be
Well,
prettier.
I think that's some of it, but I was talking more about the aspect of you'll see somebody with just a shit ton of really bad tattoos, and it's like, at what point did you say, this just isn't working out? I need to stop, and you just don't. You just go like, well, the next one will be the one,
But-
and it just gets worse and worse. and
Don't
worse.
you notice John Cougar squinting every time he fucks you? Come on, that's too much.
What?
Oh, Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan.
Oh,
Meg, like John Cougar was with her for a long time.
Well,
but, like,
did she convince him to get some surgery? What does John Cougar look like now?
he's got a hair. He must use that fucking hair has been spectacular since the 80s, and it's the same color for the most part. But I
we
don't
haven't
think,
really
I don't
heard
know.
anything from old Johnny Cougar, have we?
Yeah, he
does.
stopped
He
doing
puts out.
anything.
He puts out stuff and performs. It's just like
It's John
no.
Mellencamp now.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
is it?
Mellencamp. I went to John Cougar Mellencamp as a kid. Never mind.
Nothing wrong with that. I like John Cougar Mellencamp. I just
We just dead named John Mellencamp. We're gonna be canceled.
Johnny Cougar, baby.
Yeah. We had to accept that. And, we moved on. Like people get caught up about shit now. Like, oh, he wants to be called this now. Oh, yeah.
Really?
He wants that. Well, we had to fucking change from Mellencamp to Cougar or Cougar to Mellencamp and have it just be like accept it.
Yeah,
That's when the
Double
wall
pop-
should have
the
come
double
crumbling
popped
down.
collar on the
That's not
Levi's
recent.
jacket.
That's not recent though, is it?
No.
Oh,
Oh, that's the
man.
cover
That's
of
That's like
his
first
first
album.
Then why does
Yeah.
he look like he looks old right there?
Yeah.
He was pissed
Oh.
off at the record company.
Well, maybe that was yeah, his face looks weird. He's not handsome.
He's little too. I think he's like
a little
5'4", 5'5". Rogan size. That's not short. It's actually really tall.
Joe Rogan is
He's
5'7".
into painting now. I remember that.
Joe
with,
Rogan is 5'7".
Is
Joe
that
Rogan
what the
is
roster says?
5'7".
They just say that to intimidate the other kids coming from other towns.
Joe Rogan is the kind of guy that he's so big otherwise that I don't think you notice that if he's a littler guy, because I met him at that in Mitchell's bar, and he parked a joint with me, and fucking, I was right there, and I don't remember him being a lot smaller than me, because I think his personality's big.
His personality is big, and also his chest is enormous. So like you cannot take your eyes off of how thick and meaty that fucking dude is.
I saw him the other night on one of the UFC fights a couple of nights ago, and he had a button-up white shirt with a tie, and he looked like he was gonna fucking explode.
Dude,
the shirt was.
Yeah, well,
The shirt might have been.
well, the kids watch on the Disney Channel the show called a movie Baymax thing. There's like an inflatable white superhero, Big Hero 6, I think the movie was called. But
yeah.
Anyway,
it's a big.
that's what it
blow-up.
kind of reminded me of.
yeah.
Look at
Yeah, he's a beast.
Mellencamp's hair now.
Is that Mellencamp? I thought it was
Wait,
Brendan
that's
Walsh
recent?
doing a character.
Yeah, that's
Look at that fucking guy.
I thought it was Ron White.
That is the fucking maybe the most magical hair in show business. That's like the Elvis-esque hair that
That's
withstood
pretty
the
good
test.
hair.
We don't know what Elvis would have done.
Young.
Yeah. He
I'll
fucked
fucking shoot out props to fucking John Mellencamp. I know that I'm like from the heart of white
Little pink
Sylvania-
houses, dude. That's
white
Yeah,
Sylvania, America. But and I grew up in the 80s, so I was like right in the fucking wheelhouse. But John Cougar Mellencamp is a fucking beast. He can do no wrong, man.
he came from
From the first one, from I Need a Lover to into Jack and Diane, which was fucking huge, and then all the way through with fucking Pink Houses.
Yeah.
And fucking.
He made enough with his 80s pop.
All that whole shit, the fucking Cherry Bomb song, all that shit. I fuck with all that shit.
What if he
Jersey
just started
Jones,
tweeting
Mellencamp.
James Woods style tomorrow?
That what? I would be disappointed, but it wouldn't change.
Wouldn't hurt. Art
He
from
doesn't
the
ruin the
artist,
songs.
man. Art
Yeah,
from
but
the
if-
artist.
I still
What
listen
if
to
he-
Michael Jackson, and he fucked those.
What if he
kids.
come out and sang a love song to Mike Pence and announced he was endorsing Mike
Couple of
Pence.
Indiana boys.
Yeah, on an Indiana
hanging out at
night.
the Tasty Freeze.
Mike's got his hands below his knees. Yeah. I think that would be like a little shocking. I think he's proven that he's a bit of a liberal. All
John
his farm
Cougar?
aid,
Yeah.
he should be like somebody who's straight across the board, because he helped farmers who are generally more Republican conservative types. I think it has to do with the vibration a tractor gives. Maybe trying to stay out of the arena for the week.
Yeah.
But I don't want my blood clot to pop. Springing up there in my. They didn't tell me I needed to take it easy, but I figured like I don't want to chart.
There's no reason for you not to take it easy anyway, even if you
Right.
didn't have cancer or chemo. We're all old now.
Yeah,
You
what
know,
the?
like Chad's out there fucking pumping those fucking.
I know
pedals.
Chad's our
10
only
miles.
hope now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm the only one that's incredibly fucking obese, though, so
What's
that
that?
makes a big difference.
Remember that
I
bike
don't know,
movie?
dude.
Oh, we're like aged breaking away here.
Yeah.
These
Dude,
are-
since I moved here, I don't know how much fatter I've gotten since I moved to Texas, but I've gotten fatter. And
Everything's bigger
today at
there.
work, I moved from an electric pallet jack, which is a rider pallet jack. It's a pallet jack that you stand on and you steer with like a yoke. And I've been on that thing since basically I started working there, and was still getting fatter all the time, but I was like, oh, I'm standing up literally 12 and a half hours a day. Like, that's got to be good. I'm getting in lots of steps. Like, I'm getting in some exercise. That's good. Well, today they switched me to this thing called the Tugger, which is basically like a glorified golf cart that pulls a little dolly behind it. You throw all the shit on it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I get to sit down. And I sat down, and it's got fucking side mirrors on it. And I sat down, and whoever was on it before me was smaller than me, and the mirror was pointed right at my fucking gut, and it was just fucking fat, like just bleh. It just squished. It squished, and it was like you could see like my tits resting on my fucking gut.
It's
And I was
horrible when
just
you see it unexpectedly, man.
so
You-
sad for like 10 minutes. I just sat there, like, moved the fucking mirror off. Like, oh, I'm not gonna be looking at that anymore. Fuck this.
Kick it
Yeah.
off. Just break the mirror right off.
Snap it off. I fucking
Funny.
do. Yeah, fuck.
The other day, Jenny and I were took a hike and we were playing with the GoPros and filming some stuff. And Jenny has no fucking clue what she's doing. So I look over at her and I see the light is not on. She's filming that scenery. I walk behind her and glance, and I see the light flash, and she's got the camera pointed at her face. For the last 5 shots that she's taken, she's had the camera up completely backwards. But when I watched the footage where I came around the back and saw that, and I laughed and I told her, that's going to be some good footage. And she goes, "Are you making fun of me?" And I go, "You got the camera backwards." She's like, "Oh shit." But in that moment where I came around the corner, I just sunk. I'm like, "Oh, that's me." Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
I have
so it
so
turned
many
out to
reasons
be
to hate me. I
footage
don't
of
need
her
that.
making fun of you.
Yeah. Well, she can add that later to her TikTok account.
Well, one of the shots that she did, I thought about using because it'll get you lots of. If I was interested in views, I'm not, but
Clicks are what you want.
it's got her boobs like central in the fucking shot, and the GoPros will do that wrap effect.
Yeah,
So-
a little
so there's
panoramic
just these
style.
giant fucking boobs in the front of the shot. I'm like, well, there's the shot I need right there. Thumbnail.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
Chad,
the
what
one
do
you need to have made into like a painting. That's the thing that Mitchell and I have been doing. They have this thing now where you can send them a picture and they'll make it into basically a painting. And it's pretty fucking cool. Our house is filled with them. So
You have to send me a link because Jenny and I were talking the other day because I had to upgrade our fucking storage for photos and shit. And I'm like, why am I doing this? And we just have photos from 6 years ago that nobody even looks at. And she's like, no, let's do this thing where they're painting. So
yeah. All right, I'll send you a link.
cool.
Pretty cool. We got some good ones. Yeah, the photo thing. Fucking Carrie Mitchell has at least 20,000 photos. She takes so many pictures, and she never looks at any of them. She never looks at any of them.
It's archival, dude.
There's too many.
Someday.
But when
Uh-huh.
is
Yeah.
that day? She comes to me
Never.
and she's like, "Oh, hey, can you help me? I've got no more room on my Dropbox. I've got no
She
more
needs-
room on my hard drive." I'm like, "Yeah, because you've got 8 million videos and pictures." And I'm like, "You got to go through these things." She's like, "No, there's too many." I'm like, "There's so many now that like, yeah, if no one ever looks at them again, ever."
It's like hoarding.
That's-
How many sunsets in a row you got?
Yeah.
Can you take the nicest two
You're right.
and get
It
rid of
is like
38?
hoarding.
That's going to be the
That's
funeral
hoarding.
of the future. It's just a 4-hour slideshow on a big screen of everybody's photographs
Oh, that'd
I
be
on their
pretty cool.
phone.
I will
Yeah.
say this. I will give fucking iPhones credit. They do a thing now on our phones. I don't know I don't know what feature this is. I don't know why we have it. I'm sure everyone has it. But the iPhone will make for you a slideshow with music.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And some of them are fucking fantastic because
Yeah.
Mitchell takes a lot of pictures with her little goddaughter Addison Fox that she nannied for, and we'll get like all of a sudden she's like, "Hey, check this out," and it'll be a 3-minute slideshow video that's just, it's incredible. It'll move you to tears. I'm like, oh, thank God. No one else
And
can
then
do that.
That's true. I had the way I found out about that is it just popped up on my iPad one day and I
Yeah.
clicked it and it just played this thing and it was all the pictures from one day. And it was
Right.
the day that it was the first day that I had to watch my granddaughter when she was like 3 by myself when my wife went to work. So I took her to lunch and I took her to
Aw.
Walmart and I bought her a bicycle and I brought her back and she's on her bicycle with her help. I'm fucking bawling by the end of this fucking 30 seconds. I'm like, what did you just do to me? Well, it was great.
Yeah. That's probably the answer then, because you know, I give Carrie Mitchell shit about not looking at any of her photos, and obviously the people at Apple are like, yeah, this happens a lot. We'll just do this for you because some of them are really, really good.
Yeah.
I don't know
well,
how you toggle that on because I used to get those and I don't seem to get them anymore.
I don't know either. They
don't
come on
know.
my phone too, but I have never done anything.
Yeah, I've never asked for it to begin with, but
So-
now that I want it, I don't know how to find it.
Yeah.
my old man spent countless hours pasting photos and writing little captions. He seemed to be pretty straightforward. Some of them were kind of digs, it felt like, but for the most part. But you know, and then all these years later, they're all ripped to shreds. I got some pictures in my box. I think Jeff's got a lot of them. But
Wait, what
you know,
happened to him?
Jeff, so I think Jeff dissembled them for his own like he had no boundaries. So like if he would be looking at your photo album and then you'd look at it after he left or something, and then there'd be like photos missing. He would do that. So he compromised them way back. And then they just kind of like my mom had them in a big box. That's when I should have probably
Yeah.
grabbed them all, I guess. I didn't want, but then other people did. Pages are ripped out and shit. But you know, I know my dad's intended purpose wasn't that. He would have been fucking pissed.
Who
He would
looks
have
through
assigned
someone's
them.
photo album and rips the page out like it's a
Yeah.
phone book?
That was something he did. He did that kind
What
of
has
shit.
For
me in
Sarah
it.
Connor.
Yeah.
Who would wear somebody's cool ass 70s fucking terry cloth hoodie to school and then put it in the closet all fucking full of bad odor so that when I go to school wearing my own shit, it smells like my brother. He did that.
Otto's jacket.
One time he knocked over my TV because he found a porn magazine. I couldn't see how the two events were related.
Out of excitement.
Jerking
I don't
off
know.
real hard.
Like
Wait, was the magazine under the TV?
no, it was like I was
It was
I was
holding
at-
up the TV. The TV was crooked.
like that story where Jesus walked in and caught people selling merch at his show and he knocked everybody's shit down. That's what happened. I go, why is my TV down? He's like, I found your magazine. It's like, okay.
I think that sounds like I think that sounds like a deflection.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Change
It
the
was
subject.
Yeah. What he
Andy,
would do.
do you remember what magazine it was? Was it a
Swank.
Playboy? Oh, it's whoa. Wow.
Shanks were great.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't mess around when I started.
No,
I-
whoever got
went-
that.
I-
How did you get it? How did you get it? Do you remember?
There was a place where this I found a few of them on my paper route in brown bags, like, and then I don't know if they were like, you know, jerk and ditch, but
Jerking dick?
but I
file
know
page.
at
You're
one
lucky
time
you didn't get caught. It was a
Yeah,
big stick
like
right
I
there,
found
about to knock a box on top.
I found
of
a
you.
grab bag of it had
Jerking
a
dick. I
Swank,
love that.
it had a Hustler and a Wee magazine. It was a 3-pack of it, and I didn't really feel the need to find other magazines at that point in my life. I was just a youngster, and I didn't really have a place to look at. I didn't even know, you know, I just look at them like a consumer. I wasn't, you know, I didn't actively get involved with the magazines at that point, but I was fascinated by the whole thing, man. It's,
Well, you'd
need-
already been kind of weaponized,
Well, I
if you
think,
will.
man, I think I must have found the porno magazines. That was probably why I got molested. I was already looking down the trail, 'cause I think I'd found those, and I was delivering newspapers in like 4th and 5th grade. So it might have been before I started selecting titles from the adults video. No, I let him choose. That's how you are as a kid. You let your old man.
That's polite.
Yeah, and you know, he did. Fuck, what's her name? Can't think of our favorite porn actress of the Behind Green Doors and
Marilyn
Oh,
Chambers.
Yeah,
Marilyn
Marilyn
yeah.
Chambers. Yeah, he was upset. You know, he was obsessed with her, like he's probably obsessed with that Charlie's Angel. Like, you know, but there's a lot of
Yeah,
know,
wasn't it Kate Jackson that he was into?
yeah, like
The
there's a lot.
lesbian,
Uh-huh.
the obvious lesbian.
Right, but that's kind of what he was into. I mean, he was into young boys, so of course he
Yeah,
would choose the
Clearly,
most.
you're right.
Butchie.
She was the most boyish.
At the same time, he probably would have stabbed Farrah Fawcett and put her in the trunk. I Swank, yeah, they just I don't know the history of that magazine, but they didn't mess around with a lot of unnecessary political points of view.
Swank was
Yeah.
Swank
No,
was the
hi-fi
nastiest
reviews.
one. And when
Yeah.
I was about 12, my mom dated a guy. We moved in, and I found while they were at work, I just went through shit. So I found a fucking whole cabinet just stacked full, everyone full. So I mean, I had enough every day for years. I could just take one and check it out.
Mhm.
And Swank was definitely the dirtiest one. I
Yeah.
kind of was I was too young to jerk off to it, so I just enjoyed them. Like,
think Swank-
I didn't do anything. I didn't know I was supposed to do anything yet.
Maybe,
But I
maybe
really
Swank,
enjoyed. Oh, go ahead.
I think Swank was just too fucking much. It's like
Yeah.
seeing, special effects for the first time.
I might have overdosed
Yeah.
right away. I definitely, looking back, I was probably kind of weird because there was the little tiny booklet ones that were just written porn. Like, you'll
Uh-huh.
never believe what happened
Right,
to
right.
Oh,
me.
Penthouse Forum.
Like Penthouse Forum, but it was
Yeah.
the whole thing. There wasn't even any pictures in it. Those were
Swank-
my favorite
Swank
ones.
was like, I was recently
the
at a
fort.
carnival.
Yeah.
Well, I think that wasn't that one that also included like amateurs do-it-yourself photos, which I could look at. I could look
That
at
was
those.
Hustler.
Yeah, I could look at
Hustler
those
had
all day.
amateurs in it.
Yeah.
That was
All
a
day,
beaver hunt.
period. From the day, and then like the fucking crappy backgrounds, the fucking bruised knees and shit. It's like a time capsule into a part of America it was a little
Oh, it's still
overgrown.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's still there.
Larry Flint was ahead of his time, man.
yeah. America's not as clean shaven as we've been led to believe.
Not back then they were.
No, not back then, and it was from just that movie Dazed and Confused, what was under everybody. They're all
Well,
fucking
and
hairy
from-
motherfuckers,
And from Revenge of the Nerds, remember?
right?
We
Oh,
have
yeah.
Bush. We have Bush.
Ah, headed pie. Oh, you're insulting. You're insulting in several ways, caricature. Oh, the headed pie. I mean, that's the caricature I'm gonna have the hardest time waving goodbye to. The hornier than he should be Asian
Horny
guy.
Asian with struggles with the English language.
Yeah. Yeah, god damn it. You can have my Aunt Jemima bottle when you cry. We've lost Mrs. Butterworth and Aunt Jemima, I think.
Probably. Yeah.
Political correctness. No, I'm cool.
Yeah,
with it. don't care.
my first foray into porn was Penthouse. That's what my dad had in the closet, up above the closet, above the filing cabinet.
Did he keep
way
a,
up
did he
high?
keep a
Like, the
stack?
kids will never get up here. There was a stack of them. So just like Chad, you'd pluck one out. Just take one, look at one.
Not
pull it
off
out,
the
you
top.
Switch it. Never off the top.
Never off the top.
And then there would be one eventually that would speak to me in some way, and it would be like, well, this one, I'm keeping this
Yeah.
one. Keep this one close by. I'm not putting that one back in.
Yeah.
And he
I'm
for
keeping
sure
this-
knew that this was going on. And my dad was too afraid to have the sex talk with me. So he's like, it's his plan is working perfectly. Like, all right, he's found the magazines. That was his giving me the sex talk thing.
Yeah, he knocked it off his list.
I had just rented, well, it was probably after that, but Family Vacation. You ever bop your baloney? That's all you need to know. That guy working his hands. He's got
Yeah.
a stack of nudie magazines he feels close with.
Yeah. I use them
Shit,
all the
no.
time.
Shit, no, I wouldn't part with any of them. That's what I had.
Did you guys know that the daughter in the first Vacation, the one that says, my dad says I kiss better than I French kiss better than anybody. You know who that is? That's the girl from 30
That
Rock.
Plimpton?
No, not Martha Plimpton from Goonies. It's Jenna, what's her name? She was Jenna on 30 Rock. She was in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. She was
Oh, really?
that blonde girl from 30 Rock. I can't remember her name right now.
I just watched a
Yeah.
little
She's
bit
on,
of
she's on a game show now.
She's
Jenna
all
Maroney.
over the place. She's fucking great.
Jenna Maroney.
Jenna Maroney was her name on 30 Rock.
Yeah, I don't know what her real name
It's
is.
funny how those movies
Find
just
a
have.
picture of her, Chaille, and then see if you can find a picture of her from the movie, because it's incredible that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, when
I
I
don't
found
know.
that out, I was like, "Holy fuck, that is that girl."
I don't know either one of those shows, so I'd be curious to know
Really?
what else she's in.
There was how many of those? There's 4 of them. But I just saw the Vegas one. I watched as much as I could. It gets a little
I don't
stupid.
think
Have you
But,
seen the
I
new
only
one?
saw the first 2.
no.
The new one I thought was
Yeah,
going to
there's-
be.
Oh,
That's her in 30
okay,
Rock.
I've seen her in some stuff. I think.
Yeah, she's on lots of shit.
I didn't
been
know
in-
that was. Yeah.
So if you
That's
can
the first
find a
Audrey?
picture-
I'm looking for it.
No. That's not the first Audrey. That's the one who was
No, she was
Randy
the-
Quaid's daughter.
Randy Quaid's daughter. She
Oh,
was the one
okay.
that said,
Yeah.
My dad says I French kissed
Oh,
her."
yeah,
We
yeah,
French
yeah.
kiss. Yeah, but my
Yeah,
dad
in
says
the-
I'm the best at it. Yeah.
In the going to whatever the Griswolds go to Vegas or whatever, he French is his daughter. But it's
Jane Krakowski.
Jane Krakowski. There it is.
Look at-
the
arguably
new
had a better
Vacation-
arc than Rusty.
Yep, definitely.
The
Oh,
new
yeah, the new
Vacation
one.
has the guy from The Hangover.
Yeah, the
And I
reboot.
didn't want to watch it because I loved all the other vacations, and I go, "Oh, they're just gonna make this ridiculous." I go, "No, let me watch it." It was really fun. I liked it.
Hmm.
They did
Was
a
there
good
a
job.
Quaid
They
in
made
it?
fun of themselves remaking it enough. Like a lot of stuff was almost exactly
And
the same.
wasn't
They made
he
fun of
wasn't it Rusty grown up?
Yes, Rusty grown up, taking his
Oh,
family
shit,
on a
really?
vacation.
That's funny.
Yes, and it is.
Was it Anthony Michael Hall?
Yeah. Think so.
Well, that's
Oh
who
no, it
played
was
the
not.
last
Yeah, no, it was not him.
I don't know the
thinking of
guy's name. That
Ed Helms.
Helms.
Oh,
Ed
Ed
Helms.
Helms. Yeah,
Ed
yeah.
Helms
Big
played
Helms
grown
is
up
from
Rusty.
Hangover.
Ed Helms
she
plays
is.
Lauren Rusty. Yes.
Yeah, look, there she is in Vacation.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Daddy says I'm the best at it. That's one of those lines that you know exactly the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Yeah. Vacation is one of the ones that I have downloaded on my iPad. So if I'm ever somewhere without any kind of service, I could play it and listen to it while I go.
Oh,
to
that's a
sleep.
good idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're in some deserted park listening to it, drinking a beer, laughing, and then you notice Randy Quaid at a picnic table behind you,
I have
making
fallen,
signs.
I have fallen asleep to Vacation in Death Valley a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah, what do we have? We had when we went to Burning Man, we took the Goonies, and we took like 'cause we
That's a good
didn't
one.
even have shit downloaded. We had my laptop, so we had like, so we could play like DVDs. We went and got like the $3.99 DVDs at Walmart or whatever. And
Oh,
we
the
had
bin?
Smokey and the Bandit
Perfect.
and something else that was like that. Smokey and the Bandit was my favorite one. I was like, we watched that one afternoon, and Burning Man came back to life. Everyone was ready to go party, and I was like, I'm fucking still watching this movie, man. It was killer.
It's hard to walk out on a Burt Reynolds flick.
Dude, it was great.
No, that's a good one. When I learned that most of that was improvised, of course it made sense once I learned that. Like, oh, that does make sense. But
Yeah.
it made it even better.
Yeah.
I have the American Werewolf in London is my other one that I have downloaded.
Oh,
on
that's a
my
good
iPad.
one. That's a good one. Yeah, that movie freaked me out the first time I saw it when they did the buddy that kept appearing back to him,
Yeah.
and he was getting
Freaks
more and
me
more
out still.
decomposed.
Oh, he's all
Like
torn
that's
up.
one of the first like really, really great jobs of makeup, and like, oh shit, that
Yeah.
became a thing everyone was doing after that. But the
Yes.
first time you see
Rick
that,
Baker,
it
man.
Still
What
holds
the
up. All of
fuck?
that stuff still holds up
Absolutely.
to today. Doesn't look cheesy at all. And it was funny. Can I have a piece of toast? He asks his buddy when he shows up all fucking rotted and mangled.
Yeah.
Fucking great. I love it. Also, I fell in love with that's the first time I fell in love. I was 8 years old when I watched that, and I fell in
the
love
nurse.
with the nurse, Jenny Augeter.
Jenny
And,
Augeter.
and who has, by the way, aged so well and is completely as beautiful today as she ever was.
We'll be the
back
judge
then.
of that. Chaille,
All
fire her up right now.
She and Swank.
Not that kind of beautiful.
And
I fell in love with her. I said I
Yeah.
didn't want to jerk
Oh, yeah.
off.
yeah,
Can't believe what happened to me.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, you knew those weren't the women you want to love, the swank girls, but you appreciated their fucking getting down in the pits.
There she is.
Yeah, that's
Let's see. Let me find. What was her name again?
Jenny
Oh,
Augeter.
I got it. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there was another movie that she was in, Chad, because we were talking about this, and you're like, "Oh, that's Jenny Augeter," and I'm like, "How in the
That's how.
I know.
Oh,
That's how.
this like I think she was in an Australian movie about rabbits or something.
Chad. Do you have a Jenny Augeter poster in your bedroom?
I did marry a chick named Jenny who works in a hospital.
See?
Let me get her today.
Wow.
All too fucking
Went,
close.
went out and bought a Credence tape the day after I saw this. It's the way I remember it. I was
Yeah.
only 8, so
Dear Miss Chambers, I was recently watching one of your films with an older gentleman. He encouraged me to wrap my hand around my penis. He didn't explain it any further than that. Sorry to bother you, Miss Chambers. I'm just a big fan.
Dear Mr. Andrist, do you want something?
it's even worse. They just dismiss it. Here is a signed poster,
Yeah.
Mr. Andrews. Like not even.
Dear Miss Chambers, I have cancer. I'm just a young boy, but I have cancer.
Dear Mr. Andrist, as a member of the estate of Marilyn Chambers, it is my duty to inform you that Miss Chambers died 27 years ago.
Damn it. No, it wasn't that long ago. It was
I don't have any
it was
idea.
actually about because I was going to ask my friend if where he was as a aside. I was going to ask, did he remember where he was when he heard Marilyn Chambers died? Just to get him to go, what? I wanted to befuddle him.
To be
Oh, you
fuddled.
you throw
'Cause that would have been
fact
like,
at him.
Yeah, you remember.
Yeah,
Behind green
that was
doors.
something you guys shared.
Insatiable, bro. What was she
Yep.
doing to that guy?
All right, this is her, right? This
Any
is her?
Augeter, yeah.
Let's get it. Can we zoom in? on her?
Elderly.
She looks good. That one on the right, she looks a little bit like a Shelley Long kind of thing.
Yeah.
She's she just looks normal. She just looks like a lady who got older. And
Look,
at this point, that is pretty hot.
Yeah, I'm an old guy. I like
Yeah.
I like
Now put
normal
Marilyn
looking,
Chambers,
regular,
Marilyn Chambers up there.
beautiful women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Smart.
Jenny Augeter.
Looks good in a pantsuit and a
I didn't know
dress.
she was in new stuff. Maybe I have to watch a new show called The Midwife, huh?
Yeah, sounds like right up your alley.
Well, it's something that because I have to
That's-
compromise a lot because Jenny and I don't have the same taste.
Right
I
up your-
usually have to compromise. But Call the Midwife sounds like something that Jenny might watch.
But right
Although
up your
she does know that was my first love, so it might make her uncomfortable.
If you don't tell her that she's in it, she won't know right away that it's her until she
That's
sees you
true.
tugging on your dick halfway through the first episode.
Right? But you have
What's
a
going
boner
on?
every time we watch. That's thank you, sir. I will not tell
Don't
her.
say anything.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I like her. She's good.
try tugging off to the Love Boat, man. That's when you wish your family
That's-
had
mean
extended
the
cable.
The tugboat.
Yeah, the tugboat. How's a when I got that was as close to the sexual situations TV as I could get with three
It was
channels at
hot.
home.
Saturday night with the Love Boat, followed by Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
That was a hot Saturday night. And I always had like my parents would go out on Saturday night, so I had a babysitter who was probably trying to like make out with some boy. You know, like there was a lot of sexual energy in the
Yeah.
household on Saturday night.
And you just
70s,
want,
man.
didn't you just want to be the doc, do half-ass medicine on some cruising VD vessel?
Yeah, no, I honestly, I always
Bernie
thought,
Copel.
Yeah,
I always thought that Isaac was the coolest one on the Love Boat, the bartender. Right from the beginning, I thought
Yeah.
this guy's the one who's getting the action. I know that they played it up that Doc was the guy, but I didn't.
Yeah.
It
Well, he
didn't
had
work.
that fucking cool fucking greeting with the double guns. It's like,
Yeah. Fuck
it
yeah.
didn't get much cooler than that. And he probably did all right in them athletic competitions. Remember those? The
Celebrity Olympics.
Superstar?
No, it was the network battle.
Oh yeah, the Battle of the
Battle of
Network
Stars.
Stars. That
Uh-huh.
was classic.
I wish they still did that shit.
Captain Gabe Kaplan is leading his team
Yeah.
out to the obstacle course.
All one big long promo for the shows.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
great though. That was
I
always
know,
fun.
yeah. That's when we let everybody was happier in America when we had celebrities who were
Were we all
yeah,
happier?
man.
Yeah,
Fuck
we
yeah.
were.
You know,
Jimmy
that was-
Carter was just fucking building shit up.
That's I can tell you right now. That's when the TV turned off at midnight, played the national anthem,
Yep.
and went to static at midnight, and you were done watching TV, you piece of shit. And then they came cable news that went 24 hours
24-hour
a day,
cycle.
and that was this beginning of the end right there.
Yeah.
Then they had to
Yeah.
fill it. They had to fill all
Yep.
the time, so they had to just start making shit up.
Now I've got, well, at least I'll watch South Park and then go to sleep and wake up to dildos. And then if I stay awake a little bit longer, then South Park will come back on. It's like in the middle
Oh,
there.
you're talking
there's-
about that Adam
so-
and Eve channel.
Yeah, it's a
Like a
fucking
QVC for dildos.
sort of sexy, but not really. Chick talking about all the different products, and she doesn't really doing. She's like, her goal was to have you think about the product, not about jerking off to her.
Yeah. Trying to get you to dial a phone.
Yeah, they basically had to hire Flo, but make her less sexy.
From the Progressive commercials, or
Yeah.
from Vic
Yeah,
Alice.
Paybacks? Yeah, from Alice.
And-
Which
and
Flo
she-
are you talking about?
Flo
I
from,
can see your
oh,
analogy
no.
working with either Flo.
Yeah, well, it don't matter. Flows through history. I think there's been, how many flows have we had? We probably had at least 8, 9. We'd be pretty fucking elitist to say there's only been a couple of flows, right? Maybe we didn't watch that show.
There were 2 Flows.
All right. Yeah.
Go back to that last picture, Chaille. Let's look at those the 2 females on that in that photo.
This one?
Yeah.
That's
Bruce
Howard
Jenner?
Cosell
Oh yeah.
interviews
Suzanne
2
Summers, Bruce Jenner, and Howard Cosell. Who's
Yeah,
the other
Howard
female?
Cosell interviews 2 hot ladies for the NBC Sports.
Have you seen
Battle
that?
of the Network
the-
Stars.
the
Look how hot
picture
Suzanne
of,
Summers was. Jesus Christ! Look at her.
God damn, yeah.
Have you seen the picture of O.J. And Cosell and Bruce Jenner? And it's like the meme is, I'm gonna tell you, I've been to the future and I got some weird shit to tell you guys.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that might be in the meme Hall of Fame. There you go. Howie. I liked Howard Cosell's bombastic bullshit.
He
But he
was
would be,
fantastic.
Yeah. Nowadays he would be more like Dennis Miller was, who was just kind of, I don't know, Dennis Miller sucked on Saturday night or on, what was he on Monday Night Football for a minute?
He was on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, he was just off.
But he was terrible. Howard
he was just-
Cosell was an announcer. Dennis Miller wasn't.
Yeah.
Howard
And
Cosell
oh man,
was his, I mean, he made his bones in boxing. He came up with, it was him and Muhammad Ali, back and forth. I mean, it was Howard Cosell who Muhammad Ali was talking to, I think.
Yeah.
When he said
Yeah.
he'd float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
he knew how to get people to, fucking interview.
Yeah.
But remember, did you ever watch the Monday Night Football? I think there was a year where Joe Namath and O.J. shared a booth. It must have been Michael's in the middle of that shit. But it was, I remember it being fucking just really awful. Like both ego heads going on about, their own thing, but they were just both horrible broadcasters.
Yeah.
Sorry, O.J., if you're a listener.
Yeah. OJ wasn't bad at, OJ was a sideline reporter for his football games. He was not bad at it. I mean, aside from murdering Nicole Simpson, OJ wasn't that bad of a guy. If you could just cut that, the abuse, the years and years of violent abuse, and then the cutting her head off,
Allegedly, wasn't he acquitted of that? Allegedly, we don't want to get canceled.
But he lost the civil suit. So
I'm related to Ron Goldman's family, so I have to say that for sure he did it.
Are you really?
By marriage, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Could you get an
my first cousin married Ron Goldman's sister, brother, something like that.
Could you get an empty tin of the?
I've never met any of them though. I don't really know them very well.
So you could get a tin of mustache wax, like an empty one. Like he curls his mustache. So
Who does?
Oh, Goldman.
Ron Goldman's
he grooms his mustache.
Grooms his mustache. He twists it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't know who you were talking about.
Sorry.
I was
That's how close I am to the family.
Yeah, if you were closer, you'd understand.
I would.
This is hurtful to have his close family.
We did have a family reunion one time in which and it wasn't just me. It wasn't like they were saying, "Oh, Brett, you're the one. Don't say anything about this." My whole family, who is like, my family, they show their love by busting balls, right? Like that's how it's done. You just make fun of everyone else in the family all the time. And we had to have a discussion about make sure you don't bring up OJ or any of that because, this hits a little close to home. So
they had to say that?
We all said that before we went into this.
There's a murder. Come on.
Well, I mean, look at us right now. We're just making fun of OJ. Like
time heals wounds, but
he's a friend on Twitter.
What I'm saying is it was just basically it was a friendly reminder to the family of, hey, we've got Ron Goldman's sister coming here. Let's not fucking make her feel like unwelcome.
I know you guys were late getting to your flight and we're running through the airport, but if we could just avoid any rental car.
It becomes one of those things where you're like Andy and you're like, oh, they told me not to say anything about this. I can't not say anything.
Oh, I had the worst luck here. I fell down a flight of stairs in a wheelchair like Norberg. Oh, geez. That was when it was okay to laugh at OJ. He was funny in that. He was good in that movie.
Yeah.
He just got stabbed and fell. I don't know if he got stabbed, but he got injured a lot.
Was he the first guy that was like really? I mean, I suppose there were some before this, but the first guy who really blew the lid off his public persona was so different than his actual persona, his real life. Like I remember listening to those 911 tapes of Nicole Simpson calling and saying, "Come right now, he's gonna murder me." Not from the night that he actually murdered her, but from previous. When he's at the back door, he's breaking the door down. It's like, "Oh, who is it? Who is it? It's my husband. You may know him. It's O.J. fucking Simpson.
He's famous.
Yeah.
Hey, Chief, how's it going?"
He's at her house in Brentwood, and I remember hearing those and watching all that happen and being like, I think that was the first time for me that there was ever that situation where someone who was a beloved character was so opposite of that in real life. You find out, you have no idea because now we all know it about everybody because there is no veil. Everybody's on all the social media and all the shit's exposed right
Everybody's a piece of shit.
Yeah, there's no
everybody.
surprises.
Yeah, warts and all for everybody.
Oh. I remember whenever that chase was going on, the Bronco chase. I was in the Army. I was a kid, and I was in Alaska, and we would get an hour and a half every day for lunch hour, and we would go back to the barracks and fucking drink, and watch Jenny Jones. And one time,
thanks for your service, by the way.
One time, imagine me it was like me, two black dudes, a dude from Mexico and a white dude, surfer dude from California, all hanging out in one room, drinking, watching Jenny Jones. But one day it was interrupted by this thing, and we fucking missed going back to work and everything. We stayed an hour and a half. We stayed longer. We're like, sorry, we had car trouble. We're not going to make it back in time.
Yeah. Oh my God. The last absolute 100% appointment TV was that Chase and that ending, like the whole country was riveted.
Yeah, cut away from like
Holy fuck.
I was in
we all
Alaska,
thought
too.
O.J. Simpson was going to kill himself on live TV. And he should have.
Yeah, it's like that, you know. There's a lot of different things that you could go, oh man, that like OJ probably himself goes, yeah, I should have tucked out.
Should have missed my chance.
I bet. I mean,
Yeah.
because he would have been in question.
Wait, look at these people. They're on the freeway in Los Angeles and they've parked because they heard that the car is coming their way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like how fucking remarkable it was.
The juice is loose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're giving him fist fucking OJ. Like,
yeah, it showed LA knew how to root for an underdog. Because OJ was like you know, people wanted him to be innocent and shit, but it was like you have to really be fucking dumb to go, OJ didn't do it.
I'm gonna give away one joke from my friend Tony Hinchcliffe, who is recording a new special coming up. I think when this comes out, I think he's recording it tonight in Chicago. But he's got a funny ass joke right now about how the Johnny Depp trial was white people's OJ. And I just fucking laughed so hard at that. Like we were all like, fuck yeah. Johnny's free, man. He fucking got out of it.
Run, Johnny.
God damn it, Tony. You fucking nailed it. Because remember, like Chad, you talk about watching it with black guys. Like I didn't understand why black people were so happy that OJ got off. It took me years to absorb why that would be, why someone who's so obviously guilty. And then it was just like, oh, now I get it. You know, fuck you, you know.
It's like with Trump, you got the whitest of the white going, fuck yeah, man, this guy didn't do it. All them everybody else is wrong all the time, man. This guy.
Yeah.
I don't have faith. I know, like, yeah, OJ wasn't a necessary hero, or but it's like, you know, it's like hard to. Is there anything that would shock you? Like Cosby, I think defined like no,
honestly, I mean, yeah, but when we started to hear that, like that got leaked to everyone slowly. We all heard that before it actually came out and came to fruition.
Yeah.
But OJ prepared us for all of it. OJ was the Lenny Bruce of shitty celebrities. Like he did the fucking work, you know, because when that happened, like after OJ, nothing shocked me after that. Everything was like, oh yeah, I guess they're real people with real problems in their ass. Some of them are assholes, some of them are.
Wait, the gloves don't fit.
I think you're right, Erickson. It was like the first break in the fourth wall, like where we saw like, oh shit, okay.
Before that, everyone was fucking living their perfect best life, you know. They were all good people.
It was the Beretta guy. What year was that?
Robert Blake.
That was right after that.
Yeah.
Robert Blake.
Oh.
That dude's story. Do you guys know that dude's story about how that went down? He killed his ex-wife.
Didn't he have a plant gun?
He killed his ex-wife. Let me try
to
remember.
Yeah, I think
at a restaurant. He went back in. Here's where they left the restaurant. He went back in and said he left his wallet or something inside. And then when he came back out, she was dead. And his alibi was, I went back in to get my wallet. Like, and I think she was killed with his gun. And then he got out of it. He fucking was acquitted. He for sure did it.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous ass story. And one part was like didn't he forget his gun in the fucking restaurant?
That's what it was. You're right. He couldn't have done it. He couldn't have shot her because he was going back into the restaurant to get his gun.
Yes.
That's what it was. You're exactly right.
But he left it on the seat?
What? He left his gun on the table.
Hey, that wasn't a tip. Yeah, and he was he goes way back, right? He was one of the Little Rascals.
He was Mickey.
You can take my gun when you pry it from the cold dead hands of the waitress who cleared off the table in El Compadre.
Yes, fucking Beretta and OJ. Well, Beretta's dead now, right? He's got to be.
I think he is. I listened to a whole podcast about this Robert Blake thing, and it was fascinating. I'm a little wine drunk right now. I'm trying to reconstruct it in my head. The thing that he did to the woman who was named Vicky Lee Masters or something like that. She was a crazy bitch. Her deal was that she wanted to fuck a famous Hollywood celebrity and marry and like trick them into having a baby so that she could be famous and be like a wife or whatever. And she tried a bunch of people.
Plan.
Yeah.
She dated Marlon Brando's kid for a while, Christian Brando, and then she had, I think she might have had a kid with, something happened with him, and then she ended up with Robert Blake. And Robert Blake, they ended up having a daughter, and then he fucked her so hard. He played her so hard because she wasn't very smart. Trying to remember what happened. She was on probation or something, and she's from Arkansas, and she was on probation in Arkansas or something. And he asked her to bring the daughter out to LA for like a visit. And then when they were out there, he called the fucking, like, her parole officer or whatever in Arkansas and turned her in for being out of state. And she basically blew it. You know, like, she was trying to do something, like, he pretended he wanted to, like, see her again. You know, oh, baby, come on out and see me. And as soon as she did, it was done. He turned her in. She fucking lost all, she had to go back to jail. She lost all parental rights, and he was just trying to trick her to get the kid himself. And it worked perfectly. And then a couple years after that,
Wasn't enough.
he murdered her. Yeah.
And he bought her dinner.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
They went out to eat in a nice place.
No, and it never came up in trial who paid for the dinner.
Ah, shit. You know what? This wasn't shot when I was back here a minute ago. We were breaking up, but that's just
Don't
like
do the crime if you can't do the time.
It's like Trump's ex-wife, man. She was fucking set to testify, falls down a flight. This is way more suspicious than the staircase.
Okay.
Goes down a flight of stairs.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Andy, I have been tweeting about the Trump kill list for years. So just to point out the stupidity of the Clinton body count. It's so stupid.
Yeah, the
So,
helicopter.
Well, I mean, look, Chaille will tell you, we used to listen to this podcast called Skeptoid with Brian Dunning, where he kind of like cracks the fucking case on some of these. And we listened to one about the Hillary Clinton.
He's a guy who does critical thinking and
for you
exposés on but he's also a big proponent of kids growing up with critical thinking skills. So it's a good podcast to listen to. Other than that,
one time on the road, Chaille and I were in the front seat. Doug, whoever else, passed out in the back. We're listening to Skeptoid, and his topic was the Clinton kill list. And it was all like, yes, all these people have died around Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, but if you just look at it mathematically, it makes perfect sense. He was the governor of Arkansas. She was this famous lawyer. She became Secretary of State. He was the president. If you just look at the amount of people in their periphery, it's massive. There's this, no one knows more people than the Clintons because it's just how it works. So of course you can cherry pick. Yeah, this person died, this person died, this person died. Seems like a lot of people died around the Clintons. Yeah, because they went to every party and they know all these people and they shook hands with everybody. So I started making the same thing about the Trumps because, the same thing happens. And then Donald Trump's first wife dies a day before he and his kids are set to give depositions in New York over a fraud trial, which has now been delayed. No date set for their deposition. Mm-hmm. She fell down some steps. I mean, if this would have been a Clinton thing, it would be all over the internet.
Yeah.
Then cremated and then planted in a big fucking luxury box on the first tee or in the first tee area of a golf course for a tax write-off, apparently. Yeah. But it's just like They just scratched out a hole in a golf course. And
I did
planted
not,
her.
Andy, I did not think that was real.
Yeah.
Turns out it's real. Chad, Chaille, do you know what we're talking about?
I have no idea, but
Okay,
it's fascinating.
so Chaille, Google Ivana Trump's grave and put a picture of it up.
She died, and then under suspicious, it seems like, and then
under suspicious circumstances,
cremated.
She fell down some steps.
Blunt force was involved, so it's like if she hadn't fallen, she wouldn't have died. And then she died on the eve of testifying, and then planted on a fucking golf course.
So right after she died, I saw on Twitter, as Andy did too, a picture of her grave. And when I saw it, I thought, well, this is definitely fake. This is definitely fake. There's zero chance this is Ivana Trump's grave, because it was just a nondescript chunk of grass, not even mowed properly, and like just dirt. And then like the headstone, it wasn't even a headstone. It was just like
a marker.
Ground. It was a marker, and it just said Ivana Trump, 1942. 2020, whatever, like it just had the dates. Didn't say loving mother, didn't say anything. And I was like, well, this is definitely absolute bullshit.
Yeah, it just seems like a mobster character.
And someone was, and the person who posted it said, this grave, this is also why I thought it was bullshit. This grave is on the edge of the golf course, one of his golf courses. It's not, I don't even think it's Bedminster, but it's
what it says.
It is
buried at Bedminster.
Okay, so I thought, well, this has to be bullshit.
Yeah.
This has to be bullshit. It can't be real. And then it turns out, I guess, that it is real. And the reason he did it is because he now cannot be taxed on his golf course because it is a private family cemetery.
I did see that.
This bitch, I mean,
yeah.
I think he's a fucking criminal that belongs in prison, but mad respect to Donald Trump.
Yeah, I know.
He married his first wife on his golf course for a tax break, and it's worked.
That's going to be for however long there's still private golf clubs. That's going to be a chuckle everywhere.
The part that I saw.
It's like
the part that I saw was somebody defending it, and they're like, "Yeah, way to crop the video, or way to crop the fucking photo to make it look horrible. Look at the context." And they show the grave like in a bigger picture and it's just a fucking shitty grave next to a shitty golf course. And you're like, no, that's not. You're not arguing well. That's all.
No. Especially because there is zero chance any of the rest of her family joins her over there. She's by herself. She will never be,
she's a sand trap.
It's not like they said, hey, we're going to put a family plot on this. We love this golf course so much. This is where we're all going to be buried. She's just first. No.
First and only.
Yeah, she's a hazard.
Maybe Eric.
Maybe Eric.
I just planted a skew.
Eric and Ivana.
They'll just dump him in the brush over there. Trump doesn't even like that guy.
What a fucked up situation.
Yeah, that's just that's fucking it's it's like if a fucking guy in a trailer won the lottery, like, you know what, I'm gonna get my ex-wife and exhume her body and plant her down at the putt.
Even if that's the plan, and even if you're cheap, even if you're Donald Trump, wouldn't you? And here's the thing, the kids had to sign off on this because Donald Trump is not the next of kin. Her children are. Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric. That's their mother. They had to sign off on this. I can even understand being talked into the location, but how in the fuck? And also, let me just say, I don't give a fuck.
Is that where
you do any
tournament was?
Life? It's ridiculous. But if you're the Trumps, it doesn't seem like you're the same as that. How is there not an actual headstone that is like, a thing?
Well, this is like could be on order.
Cheapest one you could, the one we got for the dogs in Doug's backyard are more fancy than that.
Yeah,
right.
I think it's
even Ichabod says be a gentleman on it.
Yeah.
At the risk of sounding like a Trump defender, which I never want to do, but I always like to be the voice of reason, that is probably a temporary marker
Okay.
in place
right.
until they get an elaborate one built, which is not something that
Or
is
him
done
saying,
overnight.
I gave her enough
Okay.
fucking money and alimony and shit. I'm not giving her another fucking, give me the cheapest fucking one you got. That's
Even
probably
if-
more where he's coming from.
Well, even if what I just said is an afterthought by somebody in charge, going, "Hey, dude,
Yeah.
that doesn't look good. Let's get rolling a fucking good one." Okay, that might be the
Right.
case too. So, but I'm
Yes.
just saying that's probably not the.
That's
the
about
target.
what me and my brother slapped down for Grandma May, and it was after out. You know, it was a private ceremony.
That's
That's
what it
$300.
looks like.
That's $300 right there.
That's exactly my point,
Yeah.
Andy.
Uh-huh.
That this is, you know.
I'll bet
Ivana
him. That's him saying, "Fuck," you know, like fuck her. That fucking, you know, she got into business. You know, she gave me that bad advice on the hair doctor.
Why is
Fucking
he?
cunt.
Why is he responsible for her burial? This is, I mean,
He isn't.
that's
the
what I mean.
point.
It's like he's clearly
Yeah.
doing this for a tax break because what? Why would he care where the fuck she was buried?
Oh, the kids are like, man, we don't have
kids
any
did it.
pocket money.
As a
We're not-
businessman, you learn to take advantage of every.
So,
Yeah.
so you know that
What a horrible
Trump-
fucking
yeah,
society.
Trump came to the kids and he's like, "Look, listen, we've got to do something with your mother. I got an idea." And they were,
Yeah.
kids were all like, "All right."
Hey, the good
Right.
news is she's not testifying.
She would.
And neither are you.
Yeah.
She would
Yeah.
want to be useful. Which
They-
side of the graveyard cemetery?
imagine if
golf
that was
course do you
Obama?
guys want to be on?
Could you imagine Obama killing an ex-wife that way, or she just falls
Well,
down the stairs? They'd be like,
I'm not trying to claim the moral high ground for Barack Obama, but he doesn't even have an ex-wife.
yeah, I know. Well, he
So,
did
there you
like,
go, right there.
yeah,
But it's, you know, here's the thing too, like it's not even like they are the ones, like it wasn't her that was going to testify. It wasn't even her. She wasn't testifying about shit.
wouldn't you avoid the staircase too if you were her
They
getting ready to
just
testify?
her death delayed they delayed the depositions of all the Trump children and Donald Trump in this New York fraud case based on how distraught they would be.
Oh, for grief?
Yeah,
For grief.
That's why.
Because of grief. Yes, because of
Fuck
grief.
your feelings.
Mhm.
And this is how they grieved. That's my point.
You know-
This
you
is
know
not
how
a
long
grieving family. They could barely be bothered. This is
I know
like
that.
this is like putting a fucking cat in the ground.
You know they
at the
didn't
fucking
call
edge
up
of the
any.
property, and they
funeral
don't have
home
to
people.
testify.
It's like Caddyshack. It's like
She-
who get the guy who digs holes. Tell him he's planting my wife and
Carl, get Carl over there.
yeah, Mr. Spackler.
Listen, kids, she would want to be useful. She
Yeah.
doesn't want to just be buried somewhere where she's doing nobody any good. She's a tax break, and she would want to be a tax break. That was my
It's just-
Trump impression.
You don't have to do it as an impression.
it's the
I
dumbest.
respect you more for not trying to do it as an impression.
How would you not?
You didn't
think that
ask
that
us
was
if
a
we wanted to
murder,
hear
though?
an impression.
That's true. I was just trying to contribute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm all drunk on twisted tea.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
drunk on wine, so cheers to you, brother.
Saw that.
I am hydrating my fucking self.
Hey,
I'm
before
doing-
I
we
don't
get
have
to
a
the
watch or a phone either.
recommendations.
I don't know how far in we are, so Chaille, you're in charge of
Yeah,
telling me.
7:02,
so before we
yeah.
get to recommendations, we're about at that time. I do have a couple questions. I have one question and I've got two comments from Patreon.
All right.
Too political.
We do read the Patreon questions, and I try to message back once a week at least. So if you get in there, Ghost
Two.
Cubes wants to know. I would really love to hear Andy's story about how he got into comedy. I've listened to a lot of him and have never heard anything about it. And I can't remember if I've even.
That's true.
So
I remember he was tame when he started. He said.
yeah, it was a Coos Bay had a fundraiser for like an organ foundation, some shit like that. And I did it it was 2 nights.
So they want to know why.
Why?
Yeah. When did you decide
Fuck
that
it.
you?
Fuck if I know.
You were already married with a family at this point, or no?
No, I was I got engaged as a comedian, just starting to do some road gigs and shit. So I don't know nothing about no road pussy.
I want to know why though. Do you really not remember why you thought I should do stand up?
Yeah. It's just fun. I was a smart, I mean, I hated everybody like at a mill I would work at, but they all laughed. So I was just I had I don't really know though what made me decide to get into that contest and then really put an effort into the first night, not thinking about the second night, which
I mean, at some point you had to get headshots made. I've seen the headshots.
Yeah.
The headshot of you at the Looney Bin in Colorado Springs,
Sad.
Colorado. That is definitely the very first Andy Andrist headshot ever made.
Sad, forlorn.
It's from the first photo shoot, and it's actually, it's like if you could picture like a really like fresh-faced cherub version of that John Cougar pic you had up earlier. It's the same haircut from the first album. It's got that drop down, cover the eyes sort of look. Do you remember that, Andy? You know what I'm talking about?
Was I leaning? I don't know, maybe leaning. I had a white jacket.
I just remember that there was a ton of hair and it was incredible. And I was like,
yeah, I didn't retain it like Cougar, man. But yeah, I have to think about that because I mean there wasn't a clear idea as to why.
That's a pretty good one, actually.
That was taken at Arthur Hinty snuck me into the photo department at his newspaper and said I was a new track coach hire. So that's me. That's my fucking Ed Lasso.
Yeah.
Right there.
That's a good picture. I like that.
I was like going positive energy. I want my team to run good.
Yeah.
Shit. But
I have I've been receiving sarcastic comments on my Twitter posts from both an account of Lipsky and a Arthur Hinty, who neither of whom I know at all. And I fucking blame you guys. I don't fucking know these fucking dipshits giving me fucking shit like they're my fucking buddies.
Yeah. Hinty,
fuck you guys.
Hinty's like getting shit from the past.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, this shit
Travis,
I think
Travis
that
is back in the game.
bogus.
I enjoy Travis very much. He's batshit crazy, but
he's back in Florida where he can't explode and hurt any of us. And that's good.
Yeah.
Does that mean they took away his driver's license?
I think he's got it back now. I don't know.
I think
he's in Florida, so it probably doesn't matter.
I'm guessing that I mean, for Travis is a funny comedian and under the right circumstances, I'm not sure towing a stage trailer or a trailer in a stage and performing in parking lots was catch on worldwide. And
I'm not sure that that's the right situation for him either. But I will say this about Travis Lipsky, and you just said it perfectly. When all the conditions were perfect, when all of the tumblers fell into place in a line and the lock turned, Travis was the best comedian you've ever seen. And the exact same thing can be said of you, Andy Andrist. It's hard for you and Travis to get all of the things.
Maybe I should have been with him in the trailer.
No, you guys are completely different comedians.
Yeah.
But it was always that, like, when all of us have seen enough to go like, oh, when it fucking hits, it hits perfectly. And Travis was that same kind of guy. It was hard to get him there.
And it's like
the difference between you and Travis was when Travis didn't hit, it was a way bigger problem than you were. Andy just left the stage early, and that was the end of it. Travis started a riot.
Yeah, he's like a fucking controlled storm in the middle. Well, not even controlled, but when it went off kilter, it wasn't like
Now
that was a rough
sized hail in the back of the room.
Yeah, fucking cats and dogs raining down and shit.
I think once Stanhope described Andy as the funniest guy in the car ride on the way to the gig. And I have been lucky enough to be in that car ride a handful of times, and I will say 100% of the time
That's a
is
sweet
fucking
spot.
some of the funniest shit in the world.
That's what this podcast is. All right, let's do our
Hold on a second, Brett. This one's for
second
you.
question. All right.
2 people have commented on the
Wait, nobody wants to know why I got into comedy?
No, no one
Politics.
wants to know.
How do I?
They wanted to
They want to know why you
agree-
haven't gotten out.
They want to
Yeah.
agree with you about your stupid expandable hose that I thought
Drink
was
hose.
ridiculous. Mike Morcus says, Brett is right on about the shrink hose. $30 on Amazon, 100 feet, just reaches our back garden, going on 3 years now and 0 issues. Just put it away for the winter and it'll last.
Let me just say this about, I saw that
Jesus.
comment. And thank you, Mike.
Keep
And
it
let me
out.
just say this to you, Andy. I don't know how it's going to go with you, with your hose, with these 2 other fucking idiots telling you to get a rubber hose, which will not kink. I will give them this. It will not kink, but it's also 900 pounds. If you'd have tried to fucking yoink that rubber hose around with your blood clot, you would be dead right now. That shrink hose right there weighs a pound. It's nothing. It's like paper.
Andy would have tripped on his way to the hose.
Yeah.
Over that thing.
And you're gonna blame the hose.
I'll
Fair
tell you,
enough.
since I've been
Maybe not.
diagnosed with having
Shrink hose is great.
I take real careful steps with this blood clot in my neck, so I
Must
wouldn't
send you a
fall
shrink hose,
with
buddy.
any hose. Yeah.
Thank you,
Well, it's
Mike.
fire
All right.
season's coming.
All right, so just to run through, someone also asked, I can't remember if it was on Patreon or YouTube. They want me to list our recommendations. No, I'm not going to. You write them down. Write
Yeah,
them down or do a voice memo. God damn it.
I got a
Nope.
half-hearted one, so I can start.
I've got all the
watched-
recommendations listed. I'll add them to all of the.
There you go. Leave no. Last week. I had Leave No Trace. The thing about the Boy Scouts. Andy had Making of Animal House. I think that was a last ditch effort. He looked something up real quick. Chad had God Knows Where I Am and Yo MTV Raps, both on YouTube. And Brett had The Bear, and I fucking just finished The Bear right before.
Incredible.
That episode 7, I couldn't sit down. I was just fucking screaming at the TV. I hate Richie so much. He's such a fucking asshole, and it's the David Schwimmer thing. It's like David Schwimmer is such a fucking cuck on Friends that I was so angry that I'm like, maybe he's just a really good actor.
It's really
Because
good.
I am
acting.
buying it 100% of what a fucking cunt that guy is.
Didn't you? All right. So
Richie-
here's the Bear spoilers. So if you're gonna still watch it, just shut all this off right now and come back in 2 minutes. That episode was incredible, and we've all. You guys have all seen it now?
Yeah, I watched it.
Chad, have you seen it?
Chad, I don't think Chad's seen it.
No. Go ahead though.
All right. So watch The Bear. You'll like it. That
love the first
episode 7, where that scene where like the girl quits and the dude who's the pastry chef guy and
Marcus.
he's making the donut, and fucking Jeremy Allen White slaps that donut out of his fucking hand, and he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now? You're fucking giving me this goddamn donut?" Like, I couldn't believe what I was watching. Honestly, it felt more real than any reality show you'd watch about a kitchen or anything. Like it was wild how good that was.
I don't know if you noticed, but during that whole, they're 30-minute episodes. During about that whole episode, there are chunks where there's not one edit. There's one guy with a guy with a boom behind him, following him around in that kitchen.
I definitely did notice that because it's been a topic of discussion with my son. My son, who is in television production, worked on that show, and he was a PA on that show. And he told me about it when it happened. And what they're doing with that show is the same. They have these cameras now that can change depth of focus on the fly. So instead of editing from one character to another, foreground to background, they just change the focus. Now, the way that works is that's a separate person. So there's a person with a camera mounted on them. And there's another person standing next to them running the fucking focus with a thing. So there's a 2-person operation and they're moving around within the actors who are fucking all moving around. And it was a whole thing. It was huge. And the first thing that was like that that I remember was this movie called Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler with the Safdie brothers. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but you should watch it. It's also that very anxiety-ridden, intense, a lot of people arguing and talking. And instead of editing from people to people, the camera just moves. And
you couldn't get that fever pitch of intensity for 10 takes. You have to do it to where you can hide the cameras, or they just do the one camera.
Yeah,
it is intense. And
Zach told me that after they were done shooting every scene, at the end of it, the only time this has ever happened to him in all of the TV shows he's been on, at the end of every scene, everyone would clap. Like it was like a thing, like, holy fuck, we did it. Like, it's like a thing of like, can you believe no one blew their line? You know what I mean? Like, like everyone was so fucking ready to do it. You can't fucking blow your line. There's so much pressure. Yeah. There's so much pressure to fucking get that all done. And they did it. And that episode 7, when you watch that episode, at the very end of the episode, it says the bear at the very end. And the reason for that is that's the episode that they showed to FX to get the show. That's the pilot.
Really? Wow.
Even though it turned out to be chronologically episode 7, you didn't need to know any of the backstory.
Right. Yeah.
To watch that story. You could just be like, oh my God. So they showed FX that episode, and that's what got them the show bought.
Yeah, I watched that in like 2 days.
It's quick. Yeah.
I watched the whole season of Alone, the bear season. The most recent. Yeah.
That's episode season 8.
I was hoping you'd get into Alone, Andy.
I wasn't.
What'd you think of it?
I liked it. It's like, Naked and Afraid, and they just stay decent.
All right. Well,
and they really have more skills.
Here's the thing. I thought looking back on it, I think that season 8 was disappointing because of where they put them. I think they tried to put them near bears to make it, intense. And that part worked, but because of that, they were in this area where they couldn't trap, they couldn't fish up until this certain amount of days. Like if you watch the other seasons, they're trapping and they're fishing right away. Like they're displaying skills way beyond what.
It's interesting though, then to go, because I felt like I picked the winner right off the bat just by watching him hunt. But then the big fat guy from Oregon almost wins. He's just there fucking existing because on his Dairy Queen.
I was explaining to my dad. My dad called me the other day, and he goes, or we were talking the other day, and he says, I found this show called Alone, man. And he goes, I started watching it, and I go, Dad, I'm the one that told you to start watching Alone last year. And he goes, oh, that's probably why it was in the watch list. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, I like it, and he was telling me, and I says, yeah. I said, well, where are you at? And he's like, I'm on season 1. And I said, go, all right. I go, well, wait till you get in the or later ones. I says, I don't want to give anything away, but I said, one of the funniest things is that everybody in the later seasons have watched the earlier seasons. Mm-hmm. So when you watch the clips of them going out, competing to be on the program, they look one way. And then when you see them actually go on the show, they've gained like 40 pounds. They all know it's a starvation contest.
Yeah. It's the only time.
By that point. So 8 was like, starvation contest or kill a bear.
I think that season 8 was, I think they'll change the rules after season 8 because season 8 was definitely a starvation contest. The other seasons haven't been that much of a starvation contest.
Every season's been a starvation.
Well, I mean, that's a key to it. But I mean,
part
legitimately, of it, like as I was watching it, Carrie Mitchell and I were talking, like, what I want to see, like stats. I want to see stats from Alone. Like, I want to see how many meals you ate. Like, how many times did you eat meat? If you watch season 5, season 6, season 7, you'll see these people who are like, oh, they're trapping rabbits. You know, they've eaten 6 rabbits, 7 rabbits. Oh, they've eaten. Well, this guy killed a deer or whatever. Like, in season 8, legitimately, it became a starvation contest. That dude from Oregon, who I love, he was funny and fucking really interesting and cool. He was just like, I'm gonna get fat. I'm gonna just fucking.
Was he the singer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was rooting for that guy because that was my joke early on. I think I told you guys. So I told Jenny I would just take 2 of my items would be weed.
Yeah.
And then I would just hang out in my tent and smoke weed. Like I have a tent, a sleeping bag, weed, and I'm good.
Andy, you have to watch, and I know that I just saw somewhere, so I'll send you the link that all of the seasons are on something, maybe Hulu or something.
Yeah.
I think it's Netflix because that's where my dad found it.
Well, Netflix is season 8.
Oh, maybe not.
It's a difference.
Now, Hulu has the other stuff.
I think it just dropped. Like because I just saw a thing. So Andy, I want you to watch season 7 of I thought that was the season where they really.
That's the Muskox.
Yeah, that was the one where they really had the people who were like, oh my god,
that was a good one.
People are getting into it.
And
that was the one with the girl who caught the fish at the end, and it just made me so fucking like I was crying.
It was pretty genuine.
Yeah, like you're like, oh my fucking god.
There was one too where you realize when the dude actually got like an animal, but it had no fat on it, and he was still starving to death, and made you realize like, wait, you need an animal's not even enough to fucking sustain you. Are you shitting me?
That was
you
the
fucking
thing.
managed to shoot an animal and you're still gonna die.
You catch all these rabbits and you eat all these rabbits, but they're so lean that
no fat.
You still lose weight. You still lose weight. It's fucking crazy. But how about so Andy, you watch season 8. How about there's always one guy at the beginning who fucking taps out right away, who's like the big joke. And it's so
I don't want to go home, but I don't want to die either.
And then it's the promo for the entire season. He has to watch that. His kids have to go to school.
He went out there to prove himself, and he sounded like Flounders from Animal House.
Oh my god!
My brother's gonna kill me.
When I get mad and start yelling at the TV at the early ones, like fucking just die. Just fucking. I hope you get poisoned, or I hope you die, or I hope you quit. And Jenny's like, remember they always show the ones that quit early, and I'm like, okay, all right, I'll fucking chill out.
The more coverage you're getting in the first episode, the worse it's gonna play out.
It doesn't.
I started wishing death on a lady in season 9. I hope you guys get there quick so we can talk about it because I was yelling death wishes at that lady.
All right, how about another?
Here he is.
Spoiler
Tim.
alert. Yeah,
first one out.
Pussy.
Another
I can survive better than him.
With season 8, I really, really liked that girl. Like, again, we've talked about this. What I love about Alone, what I love about Great British Baking Show, Wine Drunk, is that I cheer for all of the people in it. By the time you get down to 4 or 5 left, I can make an argument for any one of them winning and it making me happy. I was really, really rooting for that girl from Wyoming who moved to England, who had like a Wyoming/England accent.
I hated her with her fucking fake accent whenever she chose to do it. Fuck that.
I don't think she chose to do it. I think you lived someplace
you slipped in and out.
Oh god.
You lived somewhere for 15 years. You started to talk like that. I thought she was great. And I thought that, like, look, that bitch had a master's degree in hunting and gathering technology.
That's one of the ones I was hoping would just die. I didn't even want her to quit.
I wanted to say this.
I wanted her to get a bacterial infection or
I found her accent annoying, but I found it amazing she made it as far as she did too.
She fucking because again, Andy, if you go to watch season 7, you'll see more of this. She was the best one aside from the guy who won. She had the best mindset. Even the starvation guy, the fat guy who was the singer. He had a good mindset too. But she had like that, like, I'm good, everything's good.
I agree that there were aspects to her that were, beneficial to the thing, but overall, her personality was too much. Not at all.
Very polarizing, this show.
Yeah, I'm gonna dive into more of it.
Well, Andy, was that your recommendation, or were you leading into something else that we hijacked?
Bad Bird, and it's not great, but it's that one we talked about. It has
Blackbird.
It has the guy from karate, fucking dojo show. Man, goddamn,
got Ray Liotta in it.
Ray Liotta's last role, and then they gave him already a sign off in memory of, and he's got an episode to go. So I don't think he's going to get renewed.
You don't think so?
But this is what I don't like about the show is I think it would play better as a limited series, and they're getting to season 2, and it's like, man, I don't know if there's enough meat on it to recommend it, but it's got good acting. I mean, that fucking dude's plays a weird pedophile, and
isn't that your Richard Jewell?
Yeah, he's Richard Jewell. He's real whiny in this.
Yeah.
It's like that's what made me think of Inspired by True Events.
Yeah.
Because this is inspired by true events.
I saw it's interesting that you say that, because I just recently, rolling through, as Carrie Mitchell and I do with our true crime, porn that we
murder
watch.
Porn.
Yeah. We watched the I think it was at 2020 or a Dateline, about the guy who this is based on, and it's really not as far off of the truth as he legit was. He was a football player, and he got arrested for selling weed or selling drugs, not totally nonviolent, and he was going to get sent up for like 10 years or whatever. And then they went to him with this proposition of like, hey, if you can get this guy, we'll send you this. Because the whole deal was, even in real life, they were sending him to a facility that was way harsher than the one he would have gone to if he would have said no. But he had the chance to like get out, and
Then I recommend it.
So I mean, that
true,
should really happen. That's closer to real life.
It seems like that's the part where I was like, man, this guy's really,
yeah, it really happened.
It almost seems like a Stanford experiment.
That one's definitely next on my list. We're waiting. I gotta wait for grandkids to go home tomorrow.
They did. The first 7 episodes are up, and then the season wrap up's gonna drop.
Yeah.
The guy who plays the serial killer is great. The guy who played Richard Jewell, who played
this guy,
the goofball,
this guy right here.
Yeah, the goofball
with the mutton chops.
He was the guy who was like Jeff Galooly's friend in the Hoarding movie.
Yeah.
Like just such an idiot.
He's a next generation fat guy actor that's wait, that's him in that?
Yeah.
But him talking about pussy it's pretty creepy. Like I wanted to leave the room when listening to him.
All right, I'll watch Blackbird.
Yeah, that's up on my list next for sure. I want to go next because I wanted to go. I was hoping Alone was Andy's recommendation because I didn't want to have to jump topics again. So everybody loves Alone now. We all like it. If you're caught up on Alone and you want to watch something else, on YouTube, there is a movie from a dude named Xavier or Javier Rosette. Javier Rosette. And it's called 300 Days Alone. And it's there's a movie in English, and then there's also a episodic version that's in French with subtitles that I'm watching now. It's pretty cool to fill in all the gaps that the 1 hour movie left out. But it's a guy that goes to an island and gets dropped off with a machete and a Swiss Army knife, a solar panel, and his camera gear. So it was, I don't know if Alone came before this or this inspired Alone.
Wow,
this was in 2008, I think. And it's a pretty decent climate. He has access to fresh water. He's not completely alone. I'll spoil a little bit of it because like people from neighboring islands come to gather. I think it's a kava plant. And It's so he gets visited, and some people just randomly show up one day that he gets to tour. But it's really cool. He documents his loneliness. It's a real honest type thing, and very good.
I'll bet you that was the idea for Alone.
I don't know what year Alone came out. I tried to research. I mean, I didn't try to research because I would have found out what year Alone came out, but I did. I did Google search if this dude's name and the TV show, and it didn't come up with anything cross-referencing it. But it is. I really recommend it.
Here's a trailer. It's 1 minute long.
Cool. Cool.
All subtitled.
Yeah, I haven't seen this.
Bill Murray.
Well,
it'd be a whole different movie.
Did that freeze for everybody or just me?
Just you.
Oh, there it is.
So he only gets 2 items, not even 10.
But he does have shoes.
Well, okay, but he doesn't list a bunch of his other items because he's shown in a sleeping bag with blankets.
But 300 days is actually a lot longer than Alone.
It's not, as strict. It's a voluntary thing.
Right.
A dude comes at one point because some of the guys from the neighboring islands come to harvest these kava plants, and a guy chops his finger off with a machete. And they know that he's camped on the other side of the volcanic island with a medical kit. So they go get him, and he hikes fucking 6 miles with them back to fix this dude's finger and spends the night. So it's not completely alone, but it's definitely the same vibe and really insightful and fun, to check out, I think. So there's my
That's a
recommendation.
good one. And the movie itself, the trailer sucked, but the movie itself
Trailer was horrible. I hadn't seen that.
Is only 52 minutes. So.
52 minutes, and then there's an episodic version by the same dude on the same channel of YouTube, Oliver or something maybe.
Yeah.
And it's in French with subtitles, and they're maybe 10 minutes long each or
Oliver
something.
Vittel.
But it's that one gets more into depth about what's going on. And it's pretty good. So
it's crazy the way your brain fucking, like, what I really like about Alone, and what it sounds like this show kind of gets into, is that the way your brain, you kind of force your brain to stop, all the shit your brain does. Your brain stops doing that eventually and only focuses on surviving. And then once you get surviving under your belt, if you can, you don't tap out, you get survival under your belt, then your brain starts to fucking get to like enlightening you. And like, you start to have these moments of like, you're not starving, you're feel a little bit safe, but you're completely untouched. Truly off the grid. Like your brain starts to go in this direction. Again, that's another reason season 7, there's some of that, Andy, where I was like, after I watched season 7 of Alone, I was like, well, that was the best journey I've ever seen on a television program by these people. I followed these people, and they all went into places. All of them were better people at the end of it. All of them, for sure, were better people.
And it seems like they choose, like the Naked and Afraid, they seem to just grab people. This one, like everybody could build a fucking cabin.
It's not fair to compare the two.
Yeah.
Because Naked and Afraid, 21 days.
If someone pitched Alone, and then some asshole in Hollywood went, yeah, but can we have them be also naked and afraid?
And what if we had multiple cameramen and producers
right.
help move things along in a interesting way?
21 days. We can only get 21 days, so we got to just have this whole thing done by then. For putting Naked and Afraid out of your mind.
Like that's what I noticed is like everybody, like I couldn't build a fucking cabin. I'd be out like right away. It's like
insane.
As soon as the weather got bad, or bugs biting.
We talk about the guy, the first guy to tap out with the I don't want to die, I don't want to tap, but I don't want to die either. One of the seasons when they go to Patagonia in South America, they even show it in the clip of all of the fucking alone things where the guy is like standing on the beach and he goes, Patagonia. And literally when he did that, the boat was driving away. Like the boat was still in sight.
You know that guy's out.
He didn't even make it through the first night. He's the only person who's never made it through a night. When it got dark, he tapped.
Dude.
Wow.
And there's no bigger fucking fail than that guy.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite seasons too. And I mean, it's I won't spoil who
was
won,
that 7?
But
that's not
3.
7.
Well, goddamn it, there's no way to not spoil it and say anything. But whenever one of the dudes had a fucking a hastily built shelter on an early episode that just barely survived fucking forever with the wind blowing his tent halfway down. It was horrible. He just made it so far and he shouldn't have. And then he goes back on and does way better.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of shit that was really incredible. There's so many people that are incredible on that show. Back to Alone now. I didn't mean to steer it back this way, but I did. There's like the one season where there's one girl who she's a homesteader from Washington. And one of the very first things she does is build herself a chair. She like all the other people are like trying to build, like they're trying to put up their little shanty shelter. They're trying to build, build with their little fish catching device or whatever. She's like, no, I'm going to make this chair. And she makes this like reclining chair. And it takes her 2 days. And then she sits back on it at the end of it. Like, And at first you're like, bitch, you're crazy. You just wasted all your time. And then you realize that mentally she's so much better than the rest of them. She's so much more at ease with who she is and how she's existing out there. And you realize that that's the game. It's mental. All of those people who go out there have the skills to live out there. They're all good hunters on some level. But being completely alone all the fucking time, that will make you go fucking.
I think that's the game, though. Is that when when all the distractions are away is when it really starts fucking with your head. And when you're in a situation, even when you're in the wilderness in a place where you're comfortable, it's different than being thrown in an area where nobody lives, where no one goes out there, not even to fucking fish.
That's what threw the guy who did the fucking, I don't want to tap, but I don't want to die either. He pretended to be having a heart attack because he realized he was completely by himself and he couldn't.
He had a panic attack.
He had a panic attack. Yeah. He couldn't deal with his brain by himself.
He spent too long working on that. He had a good shelter. He spent too long on that shelter without doing any food and without getting water and without building fire.
You got to build a fire. You got to get.
Listen, they let a guy with a heart condition on a fucking reality show where he's gonna go out in the middle of nowhere and starve.
But that's a pattern. If you'll notice, there's usually one person that spends too much time building an elaborate fucking shelter and then is exhausted because, well, I'm exhausting too many calories without putting any in. Yeah, dipshit, because you're trying to build a fucking log cabin and you haven't went fishing, you fucking asshole.
And you don't even have a chair.
Yeah,
get a fucking fishing net out there.
Dude, there's a one dude that one, God damn, I don't know if I should just say all this
Andy
stuff.
won't remember any of this.
The one guy that builds the most elaborate cabin ever and then just starts building musical instruments and because he's bored. Like he's living, he's like on Gilligan's fucking island. This guy, he's just has
Coconut
no
radio.
problem whatsoever, and then just decides like, I meditated and I miss my family, so I'm just gonna go home. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? You were my fucking main horse for the winner's circle.
Right? That was last season.
Seems
I
like
don't remember which one it was.
Kids are a weakness.
Yeah, he's the one who built the cabin and then burned. He had the ridge pole. He burned their initials in there. He made a door with a lock on it.
He's the one that made a great fucking shelter and then decided he wanted to move and then tore that down and went and built a better shelter.
Yeah, that's a different guy. Yeah.
Like a just a bad motherfucker the whole way through. You're like, You're gonna quit now.
Andy, watch season 7, because if you watch season 7, we can all talk about it.
Yeah. I want to see
it. Will be that to me was like I've watched it every year, and it just keeps building. And then season 7 to me was the culmination. Season 8 was good.
Season 8
7 was really incredible.
I'm enjoying 9.
The last
I'm on
3 people
episode
on
5 of
7.
9.
Well, I'm excited for the new. I mean, it's my favorite. Again, Great British Baking Show and Alone.
It's
the
true.
two
You're right.
opposite
I
ends
agree
of
with
the
you.
reality show spectrum are the 2 shows that give me the most joy. When I watch the Great British Baking Show and that fucking opening little music comes on and they all start making cakes, I am fucking so happy.
Is this why you've gained weight?
Maybe, dude. It's worth it. I fucking love it.
Making
It's
breakfast tarts before he goes to run his sit-down forklift.
Yeah, dude. When there's no mirrors in fucking the Great British Baking Show, believe me.
Ugh.
So, all right.
So I think you guys will like that one though. With the 300 Days Alone. It covers
Javier Rosette.
All of that stuff. And I already started following that dude on Instagram and subscribed to his channel because he admits in the beginning, he was like, yeah, I'm not a survivalist. I'm a snowboarder. So like it films his adventures basically. And this was just an adventure that he whimmed to do, so.
Did he have the title before he started?
He did on a whim.
Did he go
Twisted T made that word up.
Did he go, I'm going to be here 300 days and then do it? Or did he just.
Well, and his best friend comes to visit him the last 2 weeks. And he gets to share basically his experience, show him what he went through, take him fishing. So it's a looser rules alone.
Yeah.
So it's not alone, but it is alone enough that, and there's I won't tell you the best part even, but there's a best part in the middle that you gotta watch
it takes the money lust out of it, which is a big theme,
Yes.
It's like,
yes. Well, so he, never mind. Go, just watch it. Just watch
We'll
it.
talk about it next week.
okay.
Yeah, we'll watch it. All right.
Okay, I don't have anything because I've been with Stanhope and editing every fucking day for the 30 days in the hole.
Yeah.
So I basically been watching. I've been watching the things we've been watching.
Yeah.
So your recommendation is Doug Stanhope 30 Days in the Hole?
30 Days in the Hole. Incredible. I have something that I think it's one of my favorite things in a long time. There's a new movie out by Nicolas Cage called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And I'd heard about this and I decided this would be funny because I like Nick Cage a lot.
Yes.
And he plays himself in this movie. And Chad, have you seen it?
No, but I've seen the trailer several times because I'm keep waiting to see if it comes out on any of my streaming services that I pay for.
I thought, oh, he plays himself. I thought it was going to be like a biopic. It is not.
He makes fun of himself.
Well, I mean, even if it was a biopic, I thought he would make fun of himself. Like I just bought into this in my own head. I thought it was going to be a biopic. It's not. But it is so fucking good.
It stars Nicolas Cage and Nick Cage.
Yes, it does. He talks to his alter ego during the movie. And it's also got Pedro Pascal, who is one of the great fucking guys.
Oh, that's Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He was the Red Viper in Game of Thrones. He was the guy who got his fucking eyes squeezed out by the mountain.
Yeah.
In Game of Thrones. He was in Narcos. He was the fucking one of the FBI guys in Narcos. He's fucking great. We watched this movie and squealed in laughter and enjoyment a number of times.
Even with
there's moments where Nicolas Cage is talking to his alter ego Nick Cage, by the way, also played, of course, by Nicolas Cage, in which it is incredible. And we laughed so fucking hard. And then the movie became something I didn't think it was going to be. And it turned out to be just really, really, really good. Really good. It's a comedy. It's an action comedy. And
I'm
he is
renting
so
it.
fucking funny as Nick Cage. Like, just to not even spoil any of it, at the beginning of it, he is so into movies. Like, he just can't. He's having lunch with like this director. He's trying to get into this movie, and he's like talking about movies. Then he's like talking about acting, and he's like he's going so fucking hard on this guy. Like, the guy's like, Jesus Christ, back the fuck up. But he can't help it. And then of course he goes home and he's talking to his teenage daughter, and his teenage daughter is just trying to be a regular girl, and he fucking gloms onto her about some old movie he's seen, and like, she's like, just shut the fuck up, Dad. Like, he just comes with so much heat, and then it just goes off into this area where you're just like, oh my God. Yeah,
well, it's available on Amazon Prime, so everyone can watch it.
We had to rent it. It still costs money.
Oh, it's on demand, but it is accessible to Prime.
It's worth it.
I said that before. I hate it when everything's advertised. We're on Amazon Prime. No, well, you're not. You're on Amazon. If you're on Amazon Prime, it's free.
Yes,
Amazon, you pay for it.
This will cost you $6. We paid $6 to rent it. As soon as we started watching it, as soon as we saw the first scene between Nicolas Cage and Nick Cage, Mitchell goes, we should have just bought this movie. And I was
really?
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. Like, it's so quotable and so funny, and there's so many moments in it. It's worth your $6 rental. Do it.
Well,
fucking
a lot of times, like you said, the rental price, I do it on Apple TV, but the rental price versus the buying price is so negligible that you're like, I wish I would have fucking spent $4 more and owned this one. So that's good to know. Maybe I will spend the $4 more and own that.
I think it was $20 to buy, but anyway,
we'll see what it is.
Definitely watch it. You will laugh. Like, it made me go, like, I've always thought Nicolas Cage was great. Never a question. But his character is playing who Nick Cage is right now. This guy who, like, the Hollywood kind of thinks he's a joke, and he still thinks he's really good at acting. And that's the premise for the movie. Nice. And it's fucking and he fucking knocks it absolutely out of the park all the way through. And then Pedro Pascal, the guy on Nicolas Cage's left shoulder,
the guy with the two guns,
is also absolutely fucking great. And the two of them are just fantastic. Tiffany Haddish shouldn't have been in it, but they should have got them.
But she's supposed to be in everything now.
That's it. That she felt to me like someone who was in the movie because she's got a good agent. But the rest of the movie was fucking absolutely amazing. Nice. So check it out. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Thanks.
And Doogie Howser's in it.
Yeah, Patrick Harris.
Sold.
Oh, now he's buying it.
All right, let's get out of here. I love you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry I got so wine drunk. I spent 5 days with Todd Walker and Annie Letterman, and it's been a run.
Yeah.
We did Kill Tony last night, and I left. Carrie Mitchell and I left at like 10:30, and then I got up at 3:45, and then I was having my coffee, and then all of a sudden I heard some commotion at the front door, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And it was Todd and Annie coming in.
Yeah.
And then Annie's like, "Oh, are you just getting up for work?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh." She looks at Todd. She's like, "Oh, should we hang out with him?" And I'm like, No, you should not.
This is not hanging out, Brett time.
You should go to bed.
Yeah.
So it's been 5 days of that with those two, and I'm a little bit out of sorts. So thank you for putting up with me.
I had fun, guys. Thanks as always.
Cheers, you guys. Cheers to everybody out there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying. Oh, this is what we got to do. We got to mention this. We're doing this on Friday, right? The day this comes out.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we'll put this out there, and you guys, we're doing we haven't done this forever. We're doing a meeting of the board on Friday evening, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern time.
That's August 5th.
Join us on Zoom. Yes, the day this comes out. If you're watching this on the day this comes out, it'll be later today. Join us, the four of us and a whole bunch of other fun people on Zoom, talking shit, just like we used to do during the pandemic. Remember how much fun we used to have?
Yeah, back in the pandemic.
We had so
the
much
pandemic
fun.
Great.
Yeah.
I still live in the pandemic, guys.
Yeah,
Nothing's changed for me.
Me and Chad are still in it. I just added cancer to the mix, but I'm still isolated.
Yeah. Well, I was in the pandemic too, and then I started feeling guilty about just sponging off Joe Rogan, and I took a job, and I feel like I'm in a worse situation than Andy.
Yeah. I'm like,
your cancer has a paycheck.
Yeah. It's not that big. But Friday evening, we're going to hang out for a couple of hours on Patreon. So join us. If you're not on Patreon yet, please join us. $5 a month. You'll get all this shit. We interview, we do shows with other people we interview. We just did Billy Wayne Davis. We got some other great shows coming up in the future, lined up and ready to go. And then we're going to do we do these meetings, meeting of the board. That's us. You're a board member if you're a Patreon subscriber. So join us on Friday evening for a couple of hours. We'll get drunk. We'll eat food. We'll laugh. We'll talk to people. You can ask us questions. We'll ignore them. We'll answer some other question that you didn't even ask. You know how it works. So that's happening this Friday. And we hope to see you there. And also, that's it then, I guess, right? Thank you.
That's it.
All right. We love you guys. Hit up Andy on Venmo. You know Andy's Venmo.
Yeah, I think we should play like the sad puppy song or show sad animals when we ask for that now.
What your
Venmo? It's like people don't really do that much anymore, but if I've like maybe sad puppies.
And what do you want to do, like the Sarah McLachlan commercial where they think they're donating to puppies?
Well,
but it's really you?
I'll help. Andy, you're thinking about it all wrong. You need to take off your shirt and do just like a slow Mishka fucking dissolve up your scar up your stomach, like, you know, while you're laying down with your neck all blown out. You need to have a nice slow-mo video with some Sarah McLachlan playing.
Yeah, like maybe. Well, I don't need puppies. I'll just wait for. I'll just get a sprinkler and stand under it, and like I'm in the rain and I'm cold.
There you go.
And then, you know, then maybe the money will, you know, I mean, people are buying gas and milk for their babies. So,
yeah.
So I can't ask for any more, but.
And also, look, I mean, those are all great ideas.
Or anything.
It sounds super sexy, but we all know that absolutely 100% truthfully, Mishka's poor. He's not rich at all. He doesn't have a bunch of houses that he's bought. He's poor. He needs your money. So when he does those things, those are real. Those are real. Don't ever
only believe half the things you see.
All right. I love you guys. We'll see you next week. We hope to see you on the Patreon this week. And if not, we'll see you next week right back here. Thank you. Later.